What is flapping, feather fluffers? Welcome to Toucan Rant. We're just two toucans with two tall cans who can rant because we got two tall cans. Are we doing the thing?
No, I'm not.
Ah, come on, you.
I don't
read it.
remember it. I don't remember it.
All right.
All right, let me page back.
Well, technically, we're not we don't have two tall cans. We've got some crazy brewed elixir concoction.
It's called a bullfrog.
A bullfrog.
Yep.
By our resident chemist, Jeremy.
Yep. It's kind of funny you mentioned that. Someone told me I smelled like a meth lab today.
Seriously?
Yeah, well, I got voted to go dump out a shit ton of chemicals in our bomb room today. And
You guys got a bomb room?
Oh yeah, we got a bomb room. Dude, there's a lot of flammables in that place. Like, we have 55-gallon drums of acetone. Like, that if that bomb room goes up, shit's blowing up.
That's where you keep everything?
That's where we have
combustibles?
to keep like the big stuff, yeah.
And that's going to prevent the rest of the plant from
Yes.
exploding?
Yes. There's also doors that come down in that part of the building. It's the finishing area. Special fire doors that, like, as soon as the alarms go off, the doors shut. And then you have to evacuate out of one or two manual doors. But yeah.
Never seen a bomb room before. That's kind of cool.
I mean, it's just the cement. I think it's just reinforced. It's like the size of a long closet. Like, I don't know. It's probably half the size of the room we're in right now. We keep the 55-gallon drums like acetone and glue and all the other highly flammable, combustible, blow-up type shit.
And so you had all those chemicals on you?
Well, no, I was dumping shit out and, like, I kept getting splashed by it and I don't know. I changed my sweatshirt, so I probably don't smell as bad as I did. I had a sweatshirt on, but, like, the rest of the day, I'm like, God, I fucking smell bad, and I did not like it, but whatever. Nothing I can do about it. Nobody else apparently knows how to... Well, the other guy that would have known how to dispose of hazardous waste was not there, so they called me. Because I know too much.
Too much about the drug business. Where's your trailer? Where's your RV? Got it
Just
parked
know
out.
too much in that company. It's like annoying. I get like voted to do all sorts of dumb shit. It fucking drives me nuts. Oh, Jeremy knows how to do that. Just send Jeremy to do it. Yeah, well, fuck you. Maybe Jeremy doesn't want to do it today. Maybe you should pay Jeremy more for knowing all this shit. All right, boy, I could go on for a minute. Rant,
but
so
I
I
do want to know about your journey into Dragon Ball Z. This is kind of... I was perplexed when you sent me that text. Yeah. Like, why is Jeremy texting me about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super?
Okay. Well, now, and then I saw something else. And I got more questions. So, this Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game came out recently, right? And there is, I think it's called Game Ranks. I think
That's the Facebook thing you keep talking about that you watch all the time.
I think it's a YouTube thing too.
But you don't use YouTube.
Game Ranks. Well, it just fucking feeds me the shit that I want.
Algorithms.
Yes, and it listens to me talk about it, so now I'll probably get some more Dragon Ball Z stuff. But they reviewed the game, and I was like, damn, I have not watched Dragon Ball Z in a long time. And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, fuck, I don't even know what the fuck happened in Dragon Ball Z. Like, I remember bits and pieces. I remember the transformation into the big ape, and I remember the Super Saiyan, and I remember Frieza and parts of Cell and Trunks, and like, but I don't really know any of it, like the beginning, and I didn't know Dragon Ball at all, and they were talking about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, because that's apparently what this game covers. Okay, so fast forward like a week, I have a shit ton of time to kill, so I'm walking around Walmart, and I happen upon DVDs of stuff. I don't know why.
No, you didn't.
I don't know why, but I ended up looking at DVDs, and I'm standing there. I'm like, oh, look, it's Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, and they have Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball, yeah, is that what it is? Super. And they have Dragon Ball Kai, and they have all this other shit. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I don't know what any of this means. So No, hold on. So I left and I went home and I went on YouTube and I'm like, all right, people have got to have episodes on here. Well, first I checked Netflix, no dice. Then I checked my Sling because I know they do Adult Swim, and I can watch Dragon Ball Super on there. So I do have that option at this point on demand. I think. I don't know. I had troubles getting Sling to work that night. It was being dumb. So then I went to YouTube. I was like, all right, I'm going to try to find the first episode of Dragon Ball Z. And there's like everything but that. Like there's abridged versions, which
are hilarious.
Yeah,
hilarious.
But when you don't see, it's hilarious to you because you remember and have seen them, and I do not remember. So, long story short, I got paid for my snowblowing, and my grandparents gave me $20 for my birthday, and I could get season 1 and 2 of Dragon Ball Z for $20 from Walmart, which is a great deal. Yeah. And if this goes well, they have 3 and 4 for $20. Which I think takes me up to the end of the Frieza thing, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, but I popped that first disc in, and I'm like, all right, I remember this, and then I don't remember anything. Like I'm watching this, I'm like, don't remember that, don't remember that, remember that episode, don't remember that. So I don't know if like when it was Toonami, they've skipped a lot of the filler shit, or if I just didn't watch Toonami every day like I should have because I was a kid who did not watch a lot of TV as a kid, that I missed a bunch of shit. And I remember watching it at your house
because I watched it religiously,
but by then it was already into the Cell saga and games and Trunks and androids and all that shit. But like this, but then you're like, well, Dragon Ball Eastern version is Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And then I'm watching the first episode of Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, okay, so this makes sense. Now Goku is older. I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes of Dragon Ball. I don't remember anything about it. I just know it's about a young Goku. And then it's like, there's the break, and then Z picks up, and he has Gohan, and it makes sense. Like, Krillin and what's her name? Bulma and Master Roshi are all excited to see Goku after all that other shit that happened, which I couldn't tell you anything, but they seemed really excited to see him, so something must have happened. And then it picks up and goes forward, and I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And then the whole interaction with his brother Raditz, right? Raditz?
Yeah.
Okay, just bear with me, people. I'm getting
the puzzles
together. My shit together here. Then he's like, oh yeah, you're Saiyan, and this is how you got here, which explains what Dragon Ball was about, which now I'm kind of regret. Well, they didn't have Dragon Ball as an option, but I might have to go watch that because that sounds kind of cool too.
It's a big comedy thing. It's more comedy than action.
Okay, I like comedy. Anyway, so they're talking about that, and just a lot of shit makes a lot more sense. And then, okay, I'm going to throw this out here. So, I'm like, watch the first disc, which is 7 episodes, and I maybe made it like 3 episodes into the second disc, so like 10 episodes in. And Goku dies, we all know that, and then he's running on the road, and then Piccolo takes Gohan to train, which I sort of remember. This is the part I don't remember, is Gohan transforming and Piccolo destroying the fucking moon.
Yep.
Seriously? He just is like, is he not thinking of the ramifications of not having a moon for Earth? There are some serious ramifications.
But there can be no more giant monkeys.
Okay.
Which are going to be much more detrimental to the human experience than, not having the ebb and flow of the tide and messing all that stuff, messing up the weather and whatever. Because the Saiyans would send their warriors to planets and they would use the full moon to absolutely demolish all living life there. That was their military #1 weapon.
But I vaguely remember, I'm not there yet, but I vaguely remember Vegeta transforming.
Oh yeah, because they came up with the technique that they could use when there was no moon.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's explained away then.
Yeah.
All right. I just was like sitting there. Second thing. We are in a somewhat futuristic world with robots and everything else, right?
Correct, yeah.
Fucking dinosaurs everywhere. What the fuck?
Because dinosaurs are awesome.
I mean, dinosaurs are cool, don't get me wrong, but like everything Gohan encounters. Oh, but also you have these weird futuristic looking chicken things in the very first episode. I don't know, man. It's a mind trip and a mind fuck, and it's a lot more fun than I remember it then, because then I was like getting bits and pieces. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then they'd throw a movie in one afternoon on Toonami, and I'm like, the fuck is this? This has nothing to do with what I was watching last week. I just feel like my ability to sit down and watch it from boom, 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 boom. That's why I really like Samurai Champloo, too, when you get, right? Samurai Champloo. Fuck it, that made me cry. But that one where you sit down and just boom, 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 boom. I mean, I used to get done with class, and I would go back to the dorm room, and every day during lunch, I would sit and eat my sub and watch one episode of Samurai Champloo. Sometimes two, if I didn't want to go to class. But, I mean, it's just nice to have it in order. So, yeah, I'm like reliving my youth a little bit. I don't know why. Like I said, it's that game, and you're like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, well, it kind of looks fun and cool. And
no, it does look cool. I've actually watched some gameplay of it. It looks legit fun.
Yeah. So, like, maybe after I'm done with this Star Wars game that now I haven't played because I watched Dragon Ball Z all night. I don't know. I might have some interruptions here, but I just like I saw it and I was like, you know what, $20 for all those episodes and to have some fun reliving my childhood a little bit. I thought it was worth it. And I know those were not always $20. And you were like, "Oh shit, you didn't" when I said DVDs, but like that's a lot of content for $20.
Yeah. It's 48 something episodes maybe.
It's more than that.
Oh, is it?
The first two, I mean, the first season is like 6 discs.
Oh.
7 on each one. And then the second season, I think, has just as many.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good deal.
It's nuts. Like, I opened it up. Like, first I looked at it, I'm like, well, that's a lot of fucking discs. I'm like, all right, well. And like I said, I put it back and I walked away. I'm like, nope, there's another way to do it that'll be cheaper and this and that. And then I'm like, I could subscribe to the Funimation app for $50 a year. But, like, my problem is like, I'll get really into it and I'll watch a bunch of it and then I'll stop and then I'll probably watch a bunch of it, like, a month later. So why would I pay? And I might not get it all done in a year because you know how I am about stuff sometimes, so...
And then you have the actual tangible thing, so you can whip it out again and check it out
so
down the line.
If you want to borrow it or, you know...
Well, I have the first few seasons.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, fuck, I should have just talked to you. God damn it.
Well, that was another one of the, oh no, the reasons for that.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. I just was like, I had it in my head and I knew it was there. And then after work today, I picked up the essentials. I got a 12-pack of beer, a bottle of vodka, a pizza, and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, what a life to live.
Well, we
we
had vodka, but I wasn't sure how much I was going to end up dumping into this bullfrog. And then if I used it all up, Steph would be like, wait, that'll be the one time she wants vodka. We're all out of fucking vodka. And then I'd never hear the end of it because I used it on this concoction here.
Which is tasty.
It is. It goes down smooth. It's probably a very dangerous drink. I'm going to make that during the summertime, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was the one. Do you think it would be better colder? With more of a chill to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cold. I drank the first one warm, and I didn't mind it, but I drink a lot of warm stuff warm. Like, right. Since my mouth is all fucked up, my teeth hurt if stuff's too cold. If you haven't noticed, I don't refrigerate the beer anymore, and I don't really...
chill.
Well, yeah, I mean, I literally buy it, and then I put it in the... That up there is pretty fucking cold.
Well,
I don't. The door there.
I usually leave my beer out too. I drink warm.
Yeah.
The only time it's cold is when it comes directly out of the freezer, fridge, whatever.
Yeah, from cooler, the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it'll become room temperature.
Yeah. So then, do you have the Dragon Ball Z manga?
The first 5.
Okay. Are they good?
I guess they're not as good as the anime was because I didn't continue buying them, or I had already seen all the anime, so it didn't seem necessary to get the actual comics.
Yeah, that's true.
But when I was buying those, I didn't really have disposable income. I might think about picking them up again, but there's just so much other kinds of manga that I haven't read that I want to read. Like, I've started noticing that I kind of don't want to buy stuff and read stuff I've already read.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much that has the potential for being as good or better than what I've read in the past that will trip my trigger. And like, it's like, why do you want to waste your time? It's a thing I don't get about people who watch the same TV shows over and over again, or the same movies over and over again. I know you do it. I know you do it.
I do.
But it's on in the background or whatever, so.
Oh, it's a comfort thing. But, like, I kid you not, like, I legit sat down and have watched from beginning to end all 4 seasons of Better Call Saul. 3, 4. However many are out. I have sat down and legit watched them, like, full focus at least 5 times. I cannot get enough of that show. I've seen the entire Breaking Bad series, like, 3 times now. But, like, Better Call Saul, I watched the shit, like, because that's one where now, because I've watched Breaking Bad, I'm trying to make all these connections, and the further you get in, the more you see it. And then you get further into the season, and then you go back and watch the first season, and you're like, oh, yeah, that connects with that, which connects with Breaking Bad over here. Like, I can't get enough of that. That show is fucking amazing.
Mm. But didn't do it for me.
The Office, I've seen that probably 100 times over. Still watch them.
Do you have access to that yet?
Comedy Central plays them like every day, except for Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Then they play South Park, and I'm like, nah, I'm not a big South Park fan anymore.
I watch the new episodes of South Park when they come out.
Yeah,
it's very interesting to see how they interweave with what's actually going on in present
the world,
day, current events, and what their take on it is, and watching people get outraged by a cartoon that's supposed to be a joke, and they even promote it as being a joke, but people get so bent out of shape over it because it actually points fingers at people, as good comedy should do, and they don't like that. They don't like actually. It might be that they don't like being the butt of the joke, but they also don't like the fact that it's actually funny. And they know it's kind of funny, but they can't admit it's funny, so they just get outraged instead. But then when you talk about the actual government or whatever, that's them. They're just butthurt about people laughing at them.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of TV and stuff over again. I reread stuff too, stuff that I've already read, but a lot of times it's, I don't know, for me, I'm a nostalgic person. Like this Dragon Ball Z thing. Like, it's just yearning for something I used to do or I used to enjoy, or coming back around and seeing if I still enjoy it or if I enjoy it more, or maybe I didn't like it the first time, but now that I have a more seasoned palate on something, I do enjoy it. You know what I mean?
So, see, I don't know if I can actually watch Dragon Ball Z anymore. I don't know if I can watch a good majority of anime anymore. Like, if it's based off of manga, there's just so much downtime in it. Like, nothing's happening. And it's because they're trying to pad out time, because reading the manga, like, 10 issues will maybe be like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
But there's also, when they're airing the actual show, the mangaka is creating it at the same time, and that process takes a lot longer than, well, they probably both take the same, like, they probably take a lot of time to do, both of them, but one has a big company with multiple people actually doing just the animation, the voicing, and all that, as opposed to one person doing it weekly. So they catch up very, very quickly. Yeah. And then you end up getting the filler shit that's usually really bad, but it's just to pad out the seasons until the artist can get far enough ahead so that they can make the next season. But it's just so much downtime. Like, they'll just be looking at each other and nothing happens. And then, like, Dragon Ball Z is notorious for just them spending like 6 episodes just powering up. And then they'll cut away to the people watching them, and then you'll see the other person screaming,
looking like they're getting ready to drop a giant deuce. Yes, I remember laughing about that quite often.
No, so that's where the manga would be better, because it expedites the entire process.
Yeah.
And that's why the movies are actually really cool, because it cuts out all that time building up the characters getting to their fighting levels. It pretty much just jumps in straight away to people fighting, what you're actually there to watch the show for. And that's the other hook about why it takes so long, is because they do tease you, they give you a little bit of a fight, and then there's the drama built up, and then you're just really waiting. Like, it was super epic when Goku actually turned Super Saiyan and just started pounding Frieza for the first time.
Yep.
That was epic. But It was also 2 seasons of just the hype towards that.
Or training, no. But like I said, I don't know what it is. I'm enjoying it. I could probably go upstairs and fucking just sit there and watch it for the rest of the night. I mean...
Oh, that's fine. Don't mind me. I'll just be down here ranting by myself.
You're good. So, yeah, that's kind of where that all came from. I mean, it's interesting, too. You talk about filler shit. You could argue there's a whole lot of padding and filler in Western comics right now. That is a big complaint from not only you, but now me, and I am on a giant X-Men hack and slash spree.
Yeah, you purged a bunch.
Yeah. So, well, and the best part is Fallen Angels is going to end pretty quick here, I think.
It's issue 7 is the last solicited one.
Yep. So, I mean, that one will drop off on its own. I'm going to follow the main X-Men title. New Mutants got cut. Sorry. Excalibur, don't give a fuck, got cut. X-Force was kind of like, I thought about keeping it, and then I was like, don't give a shit. Marauders, don't give a shit.
And then the X-Force, Wolverine and random telekinesis dude, they both got killed, right? Or maimed severely.
Yeah.
And Domino got powers from somebody?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of bringing Domino back to the forefront. I don't know. The Fallen Angels one is the coolest one, in my opinion, out of all of them. I don't know what it is, but that interaction with Bets and that other bitch, and I do like that. And the main X-Men title just seems to kind of give you the overall feeling of what's going on in all the other ones. So I figure if I read that, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just disappointing because of the power... Hicks and Pox made it seem as if something big was happening.
So here's the thing, though. If you look back on, and I was kind of thinking about this, and I believe we mentioned it last week or in one of these weeks. I'm kind of hazy on all of it, but House and Powers were extremely political. Like, that was all a giant political movement by Charles Xavier to establish this thing, and I don't like reading about our world politics, but I do like politics in comic books. I don't know why. I like a political story. I like a crime story. I like a mystery story. Not that those are all of them, but it's definitely a political setup. It is a background setup. It is establishing this whole thing. And maybe I got caught up in the hype of establishing the world, but now that the world is established, I'm kind of already sick of it. I think this idea that they can just keep bringing people back, I'm already kind of pissed about it.
Well, you were super jazzed about it.
I was.
Thought it was the coolest shit ever.
I was. I did not think in the first issue of X-Force they were going to kill Charles Xavier, and by the time the next X-Men came out, he was back, he had his helmet, he was all good to go. I'm sorry.
Have we actually seen his face? Post-death?
No, but I don't think you really saw his face pre-death. You saw his face. Actually? You saw his face. Well, I mean, they uploaded Cerebro into him. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, you can follow the comic books because, like, I'm seriously thinking about getting out of the whole shit.
Oh, well, I was only invested in it because you were invested in it.
I was extremely invested in it, and you know what? That brings up, and this is kind of all gonna flow. We'll do this kind of X-Men bit and straight into Batman's grave and, like, my man Warren Ellis. So there is a shit ton of reading in all these fucking X-Men books. A shit ton. And normally I would not complain about that. Normally I'd be like, that's fucking cool. But I get done with an issue and I can't even tell you what I fucking read. Like, I give zero fucks about it. X-Men, I could kind of tell you what's going on. There's some pretty serious shit. Fallen Angels, I apologize. I did not read the most recent one. It's still sitting in my stack. So that one's a little hazy to me because it's been a month. X-Force, don't give a fuck. Marauders, don't give a fuck. Excalibur,
I thought you did
really don't give a fuck. No, I cared. Excuse me.
Cared a bit about Marauders, but
I cared about Marauders, and then I realized there is absolutely nothing happening. There is a shit ton of words and absolutely nothing happening.
Well, it's all political positioning for the council.
But at least in House and Powers, it was moving forward. Marauders, there's some shit happening. There is literally a whole fight going on. Because what's-his-name's son was brought back to life because they have this life-bringing back thing. Can't remember the dude's name. That's how much I care about him. Brought his son back. His son basically tricked the Marauders in going there, and they are now being attacked. And you know what? I don't even care. Don't even care.
Yeah.
The main shtick of Marauders is the fact that What's-Her-Nuts can't get into Krakoa.
Kitty Pryde
can't get into Krakoa. Because she's what would you call that, a shifter?
Yeah.
Not a shapeshifter, but phasing and...
Yeah. There's probably a word for it.
Yeah. That's how much I care about the X-Men right now.
Yeah. Seems like there are ideas, but it's taking a very long time for them to build them up.
Well, and part of me is wondering, like, does Hickman have some sort of a thing that he's doing and he's holding everyone else back on? But then I look and there's like fucking 20 fucking new books coming out with the whole fucking shit.
It's only 8.
Only. Yeah, I was exaggerating, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you already have, like, I can't afford to keep up. Straight up. Like, at the end of December, like, I have never ever spent $60 in a week, ever. And I understand that following week on Christmas was how it fell, so they shoved them all in. Even still, I was like, all right, so they'll go back to 1 or 2 a week. No, there's like 4 or 5 this past week, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm done. You're not getting my dollar bills anymore.
Yeah, because that's pretty much your entire limit of what you spend.
Yeah, I try to spend about $20 to $25 a week. I try to keep it to there, if not less. Couple weeks now I've spent like $10-15.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. 3 comics last week. That's all I got. I got The Question, I got Batman 86, and I got Lucifer, number whatever we're on. I'm still following most of the Dreaming except for House of Secrets, right?
Yeah, House of Whispers,
sorry. But
I forgot to bring you your Question back.
That's okay. I already read the second one. It has nothing to do with the first one, so we're good.
What?
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a Wild West It's pretty fucking cool. I'll give it to you.
Oh no, it's because he got tripped out by the cripple guy.
Yep.
The dragon.
Yep. And then he goes back. You kind of get the origins. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, no, it was an interesting enough read.
I like Lemire.
Yeah. It was weird because I'm not invested in the questioning person at all, and I didn't realize that the guy who was doing the television show, that program, was also the question. And even when they showed him take his mask off, I'm like, wait a minute, is that the same guy?
To be honest, I know very little about the question. I was really excited about this book to learn some of that stuff because I kind of had an inkling that it was going to be like a, hey, we haven't really done an origin story on this guy in a long time. But like the question has shown up in like Multiversity. I'm pretty sure he's shown up in he showed up in other stuff. I don't want to say Swamp Thing, but I thought he showed up in Swamp Thing. I could be wrong on that. I know he's shown up in Justice League Dark, the New 52 version. I'm pretty sure he's in there. He's just an interesting character to me. The first time I encountered him was actually in Multiversity.
It's the first time to meet a lot of new characters.
Multiversity, yeah. It was fucking cool. I really dug that book. That we could probably do a whole fucking 5 episodes on that. But
well, there is one issue in there that I did want to find that I think is the one with the question in it. It was a very political heavy.
Yeah,
but
I know what you're talking about.
The way the panel layout was, it was very interesting. Like I think it was reversed.
And it was a trip too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one with the question is definitely pretty trippy. So if you want to have yourself a trip, go get Multiversity. Just go buy the fucking trade though. Or buy all the individual issues if you're a floppy person. But like that trade is fucking baller. And I remember when Multiversity came out, that first issue, I bought it just cuz like I'm like, what the fuck is that? I wasn't even that familiar with Grant Morrison yet. And I'm like, what the fuck is that cover about? And I bought that. Also, like, fucking thick-ass issue. Took that home and read it and was like, oh my fucking god, this is crazy. And, like, I read, like, a couple of the other ones, or picked up a couple of the other floppies, like, because I remember I was really excited about it, and I was telling you about it, but, like, you never read it. And then it was done and over, and then I would, someone said something somewhere, I don't know if it was a podcast, or I read something, but, like, Multiversity's good, Grant Morrison, blah, blah, blah. So I picked up the trade, and I was like, oh, yeah, I have some of these floppies. I remember reading this, but I got, like, the whole fucking story. That blew my mind.
Yeah. It was an interesting way to tell a story. By you being in the story, by virtue of reading it, you created it. This is an interesting fourth wall break that isn't necessarily breaking, it's incorporating the fourth wall.
And that was definitely dialogue heavy, and it actually moved the story forward.
Well, that was something I was going to talk about in Hellblazer number 2, if we got to it.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Or maybe even what's this one? Nobody is in Control.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
I got one quick thing on the question though.
Okay.
Does it need to be in that prestige format? Like that was
for me, no.
That was a pain in the ass, dude, to read.
For me, no. Like I don't get what they're doing with it. Some of those black labels are in the prestige format. The Last Night on Earth is not.
No.
The White Knight is not. Or
no.
What is it? White
Curse
Knight?
of the White Knight.
Curse of the White Knight. Sorry, that's not. That's in the normal, but it still has like the spine binding, and it's a bigger issue, and it costs more.
That was the Last Night on Earth one, yeah. That was bound that way. Curse of the White Knight.
Oh, Curse of the White Knight stapled. Sorry, yeah. But yeah, Last Night on Earth is bound that way. Like I don't understand why. Part of me likes it in some aspects. Like it's cool to see big splash pages. But big minus, like you gotta like hold it certain ways because they use that shiny ass paper.
Yep.
It's this much fucking bigger. Like, DC, we don't read in the fucking dark. Like, there's lights on and there's fucking glares on your pages. Get a fucking clue. Like, I don't know if you guys read in the dark or what. Fuck.
Well, no, see, by virtue of having the bigger page that you can print stuff on, that should allow you to add more panels to the actual page and not have them be very, very tiny. But they're still using the basic panel layout that they use for regular comics.
Just bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And the art is the art. It's not bad. It's not great. It's adequate. It fits the story it's trying to tell. But the
Batman Damned, the art was pretty fucking badass.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have a fucking hyper detailed, gorgeous artist who is going to utilize every single square.
Did you read Black Summer yet?
I have not.
Okay.
Who's going to use the entire canvas and fill it with details. Like, because the question is not hyper detailed oriented.
Yeah, he literally doesn't have a face.
Yeah, and even everything else that he's doing around it, like, it's not.
Yeah,
it's fucking, like, it's not Stokes. Brian Stokes, I think his name is.
Well, it's not Azzarello. I mean, Azzarello did Batman Damned, right? I believe it was him. Yeah, it's not. In my opinion, the artist doesn't deem the. Yeah, no, straight up. The artist does not deem using the large page format. To me, if you're going to do that, you need to have somebody who can back that shit up. You know?
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Like the guy who did Orkstain.
Yeah.
He's got, I don't remember his name, but I think he might have done one of the Shaolin Cowboys.
Oh, could be. I mean, that art style, I remember, I never read Orkstain, but I remember seeing it. I mean, it's very, very similar. Dude, but that's just like you opened up Black Summer, right?
Yeah.
Juan Jose Rip. I mean, the dude is. You look at some of those panels and like some of them splash pages, like you could look at them for hours and not see everything.
Yeah, but I guess that's what I was going. I was going for like.
Is that Shaolin? That looks like Shaolin. Sorry, guys, we're on the Google machine.
Which one?
The one in the no that. This one there, that ain't. No,
that ain't. All Orkstain.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, even Shaolin Cowboy, you look at like there is one issue. Spoiler alert of the new version of Shaolin Cowboy, Dark Horse released. I should say one issue. There are 3 issues where it's literally just him cutting up zombies, and I was so sad. But very, very cool. It's not as cool as the original, but I've learned to appreciate it. And after reading Shaolin Cowboy, it almost seems like a really good joke to play on the reader.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, that's a prime example. That would be cool in a prestige format.
Yeah, because he goes into detail on every single cross stitch of the roofs, like the roof tiling. Yep. There's lines in each one of them.
Yeah.
He has hairs on top of hairs, and like it's just completely different. And he's doing that on the regular size comic books. Like he's going into that detail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was my, I'm going to go back to Warren Ellis Black Summer, like Juan Jose Rip. That dude's got some crazy fucking art, which is just fucking detailed as hell. And that isn't even the prestige. That would be cool in a large format book. Maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't get the large format by the floppies. Anyway, not the individual floppies, but the floppy trade.
So that was my only gripe with the question.
I didn't think it really deserved it. I mean, that's kind of the same thing I felt about the Superman one that I got that's in Prestige. Batman Damned, I hated that it was in Prestige. I still do, because I don't know what to do with them. I just like move them from stack to stack and try to keep them in really good condition because I got the Bat Dick. That could be worth money someday.
Woo! It's like $20, maybe more.
Maybe more now. I don't know. But it warrants that, especially when by the time I got to the end, I was like, all right, this is pretty fucking cool.
Well, no, those were actual paintings, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Could be.
I thought whoever was doing it was.
I thought painting. It was Azzarello.
Yeah, I thought he was painting it.
Could be.
So that makes sense then to have that, because a painting deserves a bigger canvas to be viewed on, as opposed to, I don't know, chicken scratches.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes them chicken scratches can look pretty fucking cool if you do... Oh, I'm sorry, it was... Batman Damned was written by Brian Azzarello, but Lee Bermejo. Props to Lee. Sorry, so we sound like jackasses. Or I sound like a jackass.
Nah, I was just agreeing with you.
Yep, you're not a jackass. I'm a jackass. I was the one all pumped about this because Constantine was in it, so...
Yeah. Well, no, it sounded a very good story and what you would want. Especially since you were all hyped up on Batman and you didn't have your boy Constantine around for a while.
I was hoping... And
then they were going to get mixed together.
I was hoping that Constantine was going to bring the Joker's spirit back from hell and there was going to be mass chaos. And let me tell you, that is not what happened. Spoiler alert.
Well, they were going to... In the original pen version, they were going to have a giant orgy. Constantine was going to bring the Joker back.
Thank you.
And there was going to be a bunch of Bat Dick, Joker Dick, and Constantine Dick. And DC got wind of it, and they put a kibosh on it.
Shut the dick down!
Yeah. We can have the blue dick from Watchmen, but we can't have...
Alright, so we go from that Batman, we go to Batman's Grave, and possibly my favorite thing ever, and I will quote this forever and ever and ever and ever, is Alfred saying, "I am habitually ripped to the gills on very fine cocaine, sir." DC, I don't know if you missed that, but this is not a Black Label book. This is something you put out to the masses that is not your adult labeled shit. And Alfred's fucking high on cocaine, driving Batman's train. All right.
And there wasn't even a dare ad in there saying like, "Oh no, we don't agree with drugs." So DC is actually pushing drugs on the kids. You want to be as cool as Alfred? You got to get that Colombian white.
Yeah, fat lines, guys, fat lines. And I got to say, I really, really, really love this book. For a few different reasons. Now, you've read 1, 2, and 3. I just got to read number 4, which I'll give you so you can read. I will keep it to 1, 2, and 3. But I made a comment to you. It is refreshing to see the fight scenes in Batman. And then I actually looked back at the previous 3 episodes, the previous 3 issues, and there is a very formulaic approach that Ellis is using, and it intrigues me. I don't know if it's going to go all the way through, and it's not like a hardcore thing. But
is that you spend 60% of the time or 20% of the time doing the actual detective work, and then 60% of the time doing the field work? Is that what you're relating to? Because I'm interested in this structure.
It's like the structure that I noticed, and I noticed it last issue, number 4, which we won't talk about, but like then I'm like, well, I got to look at these, and I looked at them, and it's not like super hard, but like there's like 3-4 or there's pages in the beginning kind of establishing the story, and then there's a bunch of him just doing detective work and not a lot of words, if anything at all. In the first issue, he does his detective work, and then he kind of talks at the end with Alfred. Second issue, there's some shit going on, fighting, talking to Alfred. Third issue happens, talking, fighting, Alfred. And most of the book is actually layout panels of a fight scene. And it continues into issue 4 too. And it's super fucking interesting because I've read Snyder's run on Batman. I've read maybe half of Tom King's run on Batman. I've read other Batmans in the Batman universe here and there and everywhere. Like, number one, I don't feel Batman has been a detective for a while in the way that he's being a detective here.
No, he's a god slayer. That's actually a big thing that people are concerned about with the route that DC has gone with Batman, is that he can never be a detective anymore in the main continuity, because he's gone and fought in space against world-ending crises, and he is the one who has the ability to stop them. There's actually, I don't know, I don't think we read it, but he sits on a throne and essentially knows everything.
Well, this was refreshing to see, like, him and Alfred having this interaction, like, purely detective. And, like, there is this tinge of Alfred, like, wanting him to, like, get out of the business of being Batman, which is an interesting thing, too.
It's what he's always harping on about, though.
Yeah, but it's been a while. Like, this is legit harping. I mean, it's called The Batman's Grave. It opens up, like, he's tending to Batman's mother and father's grave and Bruce Wayne's future grave. He tends to it every day. He talks about that shit while he's getting ripped on cocaine. No, I'm just
How come
kidding.
they never actually show that, though? That would be that would be very interesting.
Just
lines.
him doing lines?
Seeing him before going down, taking that rip, and just popping back up, going off to make some whatever kind of sandwiches he makes and brewing up some tea.
No, the best would be is
Cucumber
Alfred's
salads,
doing his thing. Alfred's doing his thing. You see him bend down. You see him come up. He's got white powder all over his face, and Batman's like just coming in the back end. Alfred, what are you doing? Oh, what do you need,
Bruce.
sir? What do you need? I can get you anything.
It does make a lot of sense then why Alfred is able to keep up with Batman, with Bruce Wayne.
I mean, shit, he was a field medic in the World War, wasn't he?
Yeah.
World War II. One of the World Wars. He was in the war. They were giving the fucking people amphetamines all the time.
It shifts what war he was in.
Okay, but they were giving the GIs amphetamines.
British Secret Service.
Okay, they were giving them the drugs to keep them awake and shit. That's no secret. It's not a secret anymore. I think it was at one time, but like, I thought that formula, which I have not seen, like, there is. And believe me, and I brought this up to you, Ellis, I'm going to call him my man because I'm really into his shit right now. He can be deep as fuck and give you like fucking pages and pages and pages, just deep in dialogue that means something and you want to know more. And I want to say Wildstorm, but that wasn't even as heavy. Let's go back to Transmet. Like, that's pretty fucking heavy. Dialogue heavy. And that's like his heyday. But I'll even say Wildstorm, like, it's very dense reading, and it's political, and I love that. But, like, it's pretty dense reading-wise. Like, this is pretty light. This is pretty quick, goes... And there's, like, these 6-8 pages of fight scene.
No, even with those... it might be longer than that of actual fight scenes. It's still a pretty dense read because he utilizes the first 4 pages in which he's actually talking with Alfred to establish a lot of what's going to happen and is going on and has happened. Like, and none of the words are a waste. And then you get into the fights.
And none of the pictures are a waste.
Yeah.
Because there's times where... Sometimes, like, I find myself, and I'll say this with manga, especially One Punch Man, where I'm just like, and I kind of get in a trance of, like, kicks and punches and da-da-da-da-das, which is cool, and it's almost like a flip book. But, like, this, and I'm not saying all of it, but, like, this had me captivated.
Ooh.
And isn't it interesting, too? Like, this is very much just the Batman-Alfred thing.
So far, yeah.
So far. And I'm interested if it continues that way. It's kind of a cool look, especially since they fucking killed him off. And spoiler alert, I read did you read Batman 86 yet?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
no, not 86.
Oh, whatever.
Well, no, I knew he was dead.
Well, they kept him dead, guys. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Dude, they just came out with the Alfred R.I.P. book that's a tribute to Alfred. Or it's coming out, or is coming out.
No, I didn't see it yet.
No.
I don't know. Tinian kept him dead. I read the first issue of Tinian's shit.
Well, no, he's going to stay dead.
Okay.
They're doing a whole bunch of crazy shit with 5G.
I like this. I like that interaction with... I personally like Alfred. I'm kind of pissed they killed him. But
for now.
Yeah, for now. I get that. I get that.
They killed him in White Knight, too.
Yeah, well, you know what? They killed Swamp Thing. And I haven't seen him around in a fucking while. Other than Justice League Dark. Oh, wait, they killed him again!
That was like 4 months ago.
I'm pissed.
Less than
Still
that.
bitter.
No, so that's...
Take a shot. That's one Swamp Thing reference.
Oh, shit. Jeremy's on this game today.
Yeah.
Even after how many of those crazy fucking concoctions?
Just 2.
Just 2?
Just 2.
I think 2 is all you need. I wasn't sure if you had come up. Yeah, you had made a couple of those bottles. Or not.
Oh no, I only got 1 2-liter. I was not gonna be that dumb. I kind of thought this was gonna be one of those like might hurt if you have like a whole bunch on hand type things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They went down smooth. I did want to ask you. I didn't ask you this yet though. What did you think about the news of them creating a Justice League Dark movie / TV show?
Yeah, fuck that.
But you do realize by virtue of them creating a movie and creating a TV show, even if they're shit in your eyes, they're going to be creating a bunch of new fans who do really enjoy this concept of the Justice League Dark. Mm-hmm. And by virtue of them creating this movie and getting a whole bunch of new fans, DC, the publishing side, is going to realize that there is an audience for these people who do want a Dark or a Justice League Dark comic, and they're going to start creating more Justice League Dark comics.
Hey, how'd that work out for Swamp Thing? Take a shot.
They canceled his show.
Yeah, but there was a show, and there was a lot of interest in it, and a lot of people were pissed it got canceled. Take another shot. Swamp Thing!
Well, no, I think you're allowed to talk about Swamp Thing without taking shots.
Okay.
Because it's part of the conversation now. Now you just like randomly bring up Swamp Thing when it's not like a completely different topic.
Well, I'm just saying we kind of brought it up again randomly.
But it didn't continue on, and you don't know if the repercussions of the show, like the fans clamoring for this, are not in DC's mind, like while they're thinking of potentially creating comics, because you don't know what they have in the works at the current moment.
No, but I mean they canceled it like a year ago.
Yeah, but there was a lot of hype.
Uh-huh.
And that's why this new Justice League Dark thing can be exciting, because they might be bringing Swamp Thing in, because that was the entire point of the Swamp Thing show, was they were trying to lead into
Justice League
Dark.
I get that.
And then there was a whole bunch of stuff which had nothing to do with people not liking the show. Like they fucked up financially somehow when they were doing it.
Okay, so let me make a couple points quick. Number one, the show is not necessarily movie, whatever, is not going to necessarily correlate with a book. I don't believe that whatsoever. 2, I will give it some props in the fact that it looks like Boston Brand is back on the Justice League Dark, and I did not see Wonder Woman. So major thumbs up from me there. Am I going to purchase your streaming service to watch it? No, not going to do it, because I'd rather read a book.
What if it's on a streaming service you already are?
I'll watch it. I might watch it then.
Might.
I'll probably watch a couple. I will be interested. I'm not going to go out, because I'm like considering like cutting more streaming services that we have. Like right now we're running Netflix and Sling, and I'm seriously considering getting rid of Sling. I think back to when we only had Netflix and I watched way less TV, and it was less of a problem and a nuisance, and I don't need some of the stuff. Like I literally just watch The Office over and over and over again every time I come home. Like, I don't need to do that. Oh, I have the DVDs. They're over there. I have, like, almost all of The Office.
Yeah, you...
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's there. It's just there. I just turn it on and it's there. It's background noise. Like, I don't need that background noise. It's funny. I turn on the TV so that I can read.
It's interesting. I usually turn off all the sounds so I can read.
I turn on the TV, I turn the volume way down, and I just look up once in a while. I'm like, yeah, it's on. That's cool. All right, back to my book. And I've been like, and I apologize, you wanted to talk Gantz tonight, and I've just been like straight up Hellblazer, old school Hellblazer, because I ordered 21 and then 22 just came because it just came out on Monday or Tuesday, and it fucking came. I was like, yes.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't touch any of the things that you gave me.
You're missing out. Fear Agent's pretty good.
Well, I'll get to it. But first, we're going to take a beer break.
There was some article I just read that was referencing Fear Agent. Sorry. Beer break.
Yeah, Bucko.
Yeah, you didn't stop it, though. You got to hit pause, dog.
Oh. Fuck.
All right, so we're back.
Fucking technology.
You can't do your shit. Swamp Thing. Take a shot after the beer break.
All right, so you said you really liked the fight scenes in this.
I did.
I enjoyed them.
Yep.
But they felt very, very clinical.
Yes, but I have not seen this in a Western comic, and I know you said, well, just read manga.
Well,
That's not the point I was making.
Fights? You already...
Not like that. Not 6 pages. 6 to 8 pages. I say 6 and you say more. Let's go 8 to 10 pages of fight. No dialogue. You do not see that at all. And I think...
Hold up.
I think that's a statement.
If we go back maybe 20 minutes, 40 minutes ago, we were talking about Shaolin Cowboy. I'm pretty sure there was a couple issues where it was nothing but fighting.
Let's narrow it down. Marvel DC. You don't see that.
Just plain fighting?
Yeah.
Nope. Because it's soap opera.
As of recent. That is soap opera. I would argue, like... Okay, if you want to compare it to manga, which you did, yes, it is not going to be manga. That
close
stuff,
to it,
that stuff is like ballet for beating the shit out of each other, right? But this, like, yes, it's clinical, but you don't ever fucking see that shit. That is what amazed me. Like, and like I said, if you look back at these, there's like stuff in the beginning, nothing, no dialogue, all fighting, stuff at the end. Stuff in the beginning, fighting, no dialogue, stuff at the end. And it's just this constant interaction. Now, Batman interacts with the baddies like a little bit, but most of the interaction and dialogue you see is Batman and Alfred, and that's it. Which is interesting to me, which also kind of harkens back to the Batman's Grave thing, which I talked about earlier. I find that to be an interesting dynamic, stripping it back to just Batman and Alfred. And you hear about all these writers like, oh yeah, we want to like grow and develop Batman, and we want to do this, that, and the other thing. This has done more for me from a Batman standpoint than some of this fucking crazy ass shit that's been going on. And I mentioned it outside, and you on our beer break outside / let Oscar out / all the shit. You actually see Batman putting himself in someone else's shoes, and the first time Alfred's like, I don't see why you just don't put yourself, and I'm paraphrasing, this isn't a direct quote, put yourself in the bad guy's shoes because you would have solved it already. And Batman's like, nah, I can't do that. I need to see it through the victim's eyes, which is a statement about Batman being a victim and him standing up for the victims, as much as it is this interesting concept that you actually see Batman like putting himself in other people's shoes, and you see that going forward. Like you see this character that's not him, but it's his dialogue, and I've never seen that before. I found it extremely interesting.
Yeah. The only other time he maybe has done it that we've both seen is in the Batman Who Laughs mini-series when he's trying to figure out what his nemesis's plan is.
Yes.
For poisoning the dam or whatever. It wasn't done nearly as well as this.
No.
Though.
Yeah.
But that's the only time he might have been a detective-ish. He was doing some detective-y stuff in Snyder's Run. Trying to figure out the Court of the Owls. Also not done as well as this was in 3 pages.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. Like, Batman is a detective first and foremost. He does not have superpowers per se. He's not a mutant. He's not. I know that's Marvel X-Men, but like he's just a normal rich guy, right?
Metahuman in DC continuity.
Metahuman. Okay, thank you. Yeah, he's not a metahuman. Like, he's just a normal rich guy he's a vigilante, like straight up. Like, but there's this mystique about him, right? And fuck, I forgot where I was going with this. Fuck, what did you just say? Sorry.
Comparing him in Snyder's Run as being a detective.
Yes, okay. So he is
both Snyder runs.
Thank you. But like, as of recent Batman, from like what we've read, he's very much a superhero. They're trying to put him into that metahuman category. Like, yes, there is mystery, but like he just figures it out and you just go with it because you really can't follow any of it. Like,
they don't give you clues to even try to follow.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that's done here, but like you actually see Batman like processing this shit out. Like, he's saying, oh, hey, I noticed this. And it means like it's not like a Sherlock Holmes story where you can read it and figure it out. He's processing it, and he's going through his process of processing it, oftentimes through the victim, which I find extremely interesting. But he is literally like getting back to his roots of being a detective. Like, every single one, it just like kind of builds a little bit, you know.
It feels like this is harkening back to any class that you take in math, whether you are expected to show your work, not just the answer. It feels a lot of the old stuff was just, or the newer stuff is just you show the answer. This is, or yeah, they show the answer, but they're not showing the work. This is showing the answer and showing the work. Just because we don't understand the work that's going into it doesn't mean that the steps taken to solve the problem are incorrect. And they're there.
I could not have said that better. That is exactly what it is. And I'm going to say, not even just from a Batman aspect, just from a fucking Western... No, I'm not even going to do that. From a DC Marvel concept of comics, it's kind of refreshing to see something different like that. Now, I mean, it is Ellis. He always does things a little bit different from everybody else. He kind of does his own thing. I'm surprised DC let him do his own thing. I know this was kind of like gonna come out, then it wasn't, then it was, and he's had it done for a while, has he not?
That's what I read, yeah.
Yeah. Or at least like a significant portion of it, because I think I read he was like sitting down to write more of it, but like the concept, the idea has been around for a while, and for DC to let him do that, I think is great. Even though it's not following the continuity and all that shit, I think it's going to be, all 12 issues is going to be a great Batman story. And the first, you've read 3, I've read 4 now. I just read 4 on like Tuesday. The first 4 are very solid.
No, this is one of those ones I was going to wait for a trade. Like, I was hyped for it, but was also getting burnt out by just how much Batman there was, and just comics, and as we're saying, like the fluff that there is there. Like, if there's gonna be a solid story, I'd rather just have it in a trade now, I guess, because reading is better that way.
I agree.
But I got a question. Do you think that they would be able, readers would be as interested in stories that had more fighting? Because these are things that come out once a month. Like this is a maxi series. If the main titles of these things, would readers be interested in watching like every other month there being a issue of 22 pages where there was a shit ton of fighting and zero reading? Because your issue with Shaolin Cowboy, like the first ones that you read, I think, were super heavy on dialogue from what I remember reading them.
Yeah.
And then you got the next one and it was just 3 issues of just straight up fighting.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I got the first issue of Shaolin Cowboy, the new version, and then I went back and got all the original Shaolin Cowboys because I realized that there was something else, the Burly Man Comics Shaolin Cowboy. And at that time, there were not trade paperbacks of that shit. Now there are. Fucking could have done it years ago, bitches, because I'm probably going to buy the hardcover version of that. But I have the entire series. Thank you, Lost World of Wonders in Milwaukee. You had a shit ton of them, and I only had to go online on eBay for a couple. That was very dialogue heavy. And then like 2, 3, and 4, because Dark Horse's Shaolin Cowboy was only going to be 4 issues. And part of me was like, and I remember saying it, I'm like, I'm kind of pissed because all it is just sound of a chainsaw and all these zombies. And like, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, all the zombies look different. It's extremely detailed art. But you literally are giving writing credits to somebody that's writing on a page.
But was it Ellis? He did the Moon Knight, right? And his run of Moon Knight, like the first 5 issues of it, there was almost no talking. It was
I'm pretty sure his entire run of Moon Knight. He didn't do it that long.
But it's the scripts.
I have them. I love them. I did not know who Moon Knight was. I bought it because I saw Ellis's name on it. I followed Moon Knight after that, and it was still very, very good. Moon Knight is a cool character to me. That is extremely underused by Marvel. You know what? Let me rephrase that. Marvel, do not throw him into group books. Don't do anything with him. Leave him alone. Just let him do his thing, because that shit is fucking cool as hell.
Moon Knight's still running.
I know.
I got issue 300 when it dropped. I had zero clue what was going on. But
I really need to get back into that, because when they rebooted Moon Knight and Ellis wrote those first like 6-9 issues, that was fucking baller as hell. And then I don't remember who picked it up after that, but it was also a very good writer. And like that whole thing with him in the insane asylum, and like, is this real? Is it not? Is it a dream? Is it him being crazy? Is it the medication? Is he sane? Is he lucid? Like, that whole fucking shit was fucking insane and fucking awesome. I will stand behind that book.
Likewise.
Go get it.
When I read it, it was good.
But your point being the Ellis part with...
Yeah, he scripted it. He's getting writing credit for it. It requires somebody to lay out the panels in such a fashion that it's captivating to actually view. And there is writing that goes on behind the scenes. I know when you look at trades, they have the script in there. Like, there is directing.
But that's what I would argue with the Batman's Grave. Like, he's obviously scripting those fights, right?
Yeah.
And somebody's drawing them, right? I get that. I just think Shaolin Cowboy, personally, I understand there's a script. I would have to go back and look, but from what I remember, it's pretty much the same thing over and over and over again. You know.
But was that drawn and written by the same person?
I don't think so.
They were separate people. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And not the same writers and artists as the
first one.
Yeah.
All right. So then my other question would be, why don't we have the Detective Batman? Why have we gotten away from him?
Well, and that was something I kind of brought up. Like, everyone wants to do this groundbreaking shit with Batman, and I personally feel like I don't. Okay, let me back this up by saying, before you guys fucking come at me on Twitter, if you come at me on Twitter,
you got to go after them first.
Like, I'm working on that. I'm trying to. I'm literally gonna fucking post the ripped on cocaine. I got the picture. I'm gonna put it up on Twitter because I think that's awesome, and I'm gonna add DC and be like, "You guys like drugs? I like drugs." All right. Anyway, and you can quote that. I don't know enough about Batman to say it's never happened before, but like, so let me preface all that. The move in comics right now is to do something that's never been done before and is drastic, right? We want to develop the character. We want to further him. We want to make him, we want to like fuck with him, for lack of better terms. Okay, so King's Run, he almost gets married to Catwoman, right, in issue 50, and then by the end of it, or Selena, or whatever you want to call her, sexy cat lady. I like her too. Anyway, you get to the end of the Batman. They're probably married. They didn't do the I do's and all that bullshit, but let's just assume they are. They fucking killed Alfred. Is Damian dead?
No, Damian got rescued.
Damian did get rescued. Okay, so like there's some pretty groundbreaking shit there. Okay, now Batman's grave. I've never seen, like, we talked about Batman Who Laughs, like he might have put himself in another person's shoes. I've never seen him like solve or like work through the crimes from the victim's point of view. And like just that idea, like Batman's the victim. That's established, right? His parents were killed. He watched them be killed right in front of him, right? He is a victim. That's why he became the Batman, because he feels that he needs to stand up so that nobody ever experiences what he experiences, right? So that's pretty ingrained in the mythos of Batman.
Gotcha.
This is I'm not saying it's a myth. Fuck you. I know what you're talking about. Swamp Thing, take a shot, guys. This is in my opinion, because I haven't seen it, this is a creative way of getting inside of that, being a victim, and how he feels he needs to get into the victim's head to actually be able to solve the crime. That is how he solves them. He needs to do that because, one, he was a victim. I think there's that. I think he could get into the bad guy's head, but he's Batman. He's pure. He's not going to do that. He relates with the victim, right? He was a victim. I think it also is showing respect for the victim and showing that, yeah, straight up, just like showing respect towards the deceased or the hurt or the wronged. Like, I'm going to put myself in your shoes. I think that's a very relatable thing. And almost like, hey, I wish someone related to my problems like that. Like, that's, for me, that's a relatable thing. Right. There's so times where I put myself in other people's shoes, right?
Right. So you can relate to the Detective Batman. But the Batman that we've been having most recently is not the Detective Batman. Why is the Detective Batman not around? Do people want to read the Detective Batman? Or do they prefer the superhero Batman?
I would argue they do if you want to go on the Comicsgate thing, because hasn't Batman historically been a detective more so than a superhero?
Well, they always
I don't know.
Promote him as the world's greatest detective, but we never actually see him do detective stuff. We see him fighting gods and going toe-to-toe with Superman.
I mean, the comic is literally called, the one comic he's in is literally called Detective Comics.
But he's not really even being a detective in that. He's pretty much just punching people.
You're not wrong. It's interesting. I don't have an answer for you on that one. But this is weird. Batman hater aficionado number 1 for how many years? Like, I really relate to this Batman. I feel like I have this... I say relatability, but, like, I feel for Batman?
Wait, what? You feel for Batman?
Well, I mean, I just... You know what I mean? Like, the way he explains stuff, I'm like, right on, Batman. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
So...
Not like...
In 4 issues of Ellis's run, you have related more to Batman than you have in all of Snyder's New 52 run.
Yeah, I just all thought of that King's was cool run. As shit. I just thought it was cool shit. Huh. I mean, Snyder's run, yeah. Like, I just thought that was cool shit. Like, the Court of Owls, and you can quote me on this, is fucking badass. Fucking love that shit. That's what... I literally saw that mask in the comic book shop, and I, like, fucking buried that fucker underneath my stack. Like, I'm like, no, can't let JD see this. Is that a Batman there? Are you fucking kidding, Batman? You fucking hate Batman! I'm like, God damn it, keep it down, motherfucker. I got cred. No, I could care less about my cred. I hated Batman for a very long time because no, it's not even it's not the creators, it's nothing. It's people hold him on a pedestal like he is a superhero. And I argue he is nothing but a man like us. He just has a lot more money to buy cool shit and make cool shit. Batman, what are they on? What's Tynion start at? 86? 87?
Yeah.
Okay. Batman 86 is a prime example of him having a shit ton of money and doing whatever he wants. I know you haven't read it. Just trust me on this.
Oh, it's Batman in general.
Yeah. I have a problem with that. Like, he's not a superhero. I'm sorry. He's not. He's a vigilante. Let's call it what it is. This makes me forget that he's a vigilante, that he is, like, working outside of the law, that he is, like, in some eyes, a nuisance. And really, you feel him on a human level. I honestly think King's Run, yeah, you get that human level, that the love, that thing, the need for companionship and how that works with Batman's dynamic. But at the end of the day, don't really give a shit. I just don't give a shit. Snyder's run, very cool. Really like the Jim Gordon stuff. The 0 Year stuff was cool. Court of the Owls, fucking badass, cool. There were some cool concepts. There were some cool art things. The mystery, again, you got the answer. Didn't show any of the work. It just is like, it's a procedural. Like, there's a formula for Batman, and this is what we follow. And this may be controversial, but, like, King did the same thing as Snyder.
What, breaking the bat?
Breaking the bat, 1, 2, just following the Batman formula. Just a little bit different.
So Ellis is breaking the formula? Reinventing it?
I can't say at this point. But, like, this feels more like a mystery and a actual detective thing with some cool fighting. Some very cool fighting that we haven't seen. I don't know if that format's going to stay, but through 4 issues it has, and I like that it's, like, the other thing, I don't know if I'm getting way all crazy, so if I'm going on too many points, try to rein me in. But, like...
can we go back, like, 20 minutes?
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry,
no, carry on.
Well, but, like, Batman's Grave is about Batman and Alfred. There are enemies, there's a mystery, but they're not the focus. And I feel like other Batmans are about the Rogues Gallery. I just quoted The Court of Owls is fucking badass. So, am I focused on Batman or am I focused on the Rogues Gallery?
Well, no, when we went to C2E2, that was one of the big points that all the speakers were talking about. Not really Batman. They talked about Gotham being an integral character to the entire Batman universe, but what they were more focused on for some reason was the Joker. Like all of those, like Tomasi, the dude who's writing the three or drawing the three Jokers, like all the people up there, they were always talking about the Rogues Gallery, about the Joker, about how they're way cooler.
But would you argue that the main focus, the main title of a book, a guy who's been around for how long was Detective Comics?
80 years. Now we're on 81.
Yep. 80 years of a character, the main guy who's always there for a straight 80 years, would you argue you got to start focusing on other stuff to make it exciting? I don't know.
Well, no. So, like, here's the thing that gets weird. We're going to bring it into Hellblazer. So...
Okay. Make your point, and then I got to pee.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so... Batman's been around for 80 years, but he's consistently staying the same age, like 30 to 40-ish, right?
Yep.
He never ages or changes in time, like, and that's why he has this Rogue Gallery thing, and that's why maybe Batman isn't the most interesting character in it, because he's always the same. Everything around him changes. However, I didn't know this. In that Hellblazer run, Constantine actually ages. Which is mind-boggling to me, considering all the other comics that are being distributed by DC.
I can't believe you didn't know that. You're talking about the original run,
yeah,
right?
The original run.
Yep.
Which is a thing that happens, has happened in manga. Like, we were just talking about Dragon Ball Z. We start with Goku as a kid. We get to him as an adult and past that, like raising kids. Like, he ages in time.
Yeah, I mean, I saw something about Dragon Ball Super. Gohan's a teenager, and I was like, huh? What? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, just to fucking make a point, back to Dragon Ball Z before you fucking go. Gohan is 4 years old, and Piccolo leaves him in the fucking wilderness to survive for himself. And I remember complaining about how much Gohan cried. Now that I know that he was 4 years old, because he says sense. That, I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Continue. Sorry.
Right. So... maybe what makes the main character of a title more interesting is actually seeing their journey, like the aging process.
Well, yeah, and especially since this Hellblazer kind of reset everything.
Yeah. But did it reset everything? But we can get into that.
Yeah, pee break.
All right.
I'm sorry.
So this is a pee break, not a beer break?
Well, I mean, it could be a beer break too, but some of us gotta fucking pee, man.
Beer break!
We didn't...
Paul. And we're back.
Swamp Thing.
Take a shot. What's with the shot glass, though?
Oh, that's for something else.
You got blow?
Yeah. No.
No, so, like, the reason that the fact that the original Hellblazer had Constantine constantly aging throughout it is an interesting thing, because do you think that's what they're going to be trying to do with the 5G DC reboot? They want the characters to age and have the mantles being passed on.
Fuck you.
So whether or not they actually do that or carrying it on, do you think actually watching the character age with you makes the story better and actually care about them?
Here's the thing. And maybe because it's not the aging. I mean, it is the aging. Okay, so
because when you read like Naruto, for example, you have Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke. They all start out in like their school thing, and then they graduate, and then they go on a whole bunch of adventures, and then they take a break, and they come back, and they've developed. You actually see progression throughout their arc, as opposed to them being stuck in a certain point in time consistently and having variables around them changing. Like, there's an actual forward movement for them. I don't know how it works in Hellblazer, but I found it a very interesting idea, because that might, for me, explain why you like Hellblazer so much, because it's not just a static thing. It's a character that's growing and changing.
So here's the thing. I think you can do it one of two ways, right? So you can have a static age, and things can change around you, and events can happen, and they can change you. The one thing that Batman and other books may not have done is, like, you act differently when you're 21 as opposed to when you're 34 or 33. Like, I am very much finding that out. I just turned 33. Like, my body is like, hey, you closed down the bar last night? Double middle fingers. Have fun tomorrow, motherfucker.
You did? Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, we do that all the time. That's
yesterday?
The fucking problem. No, not yesterday. No.
It's like, last damn, you're weekend. A baller,
man. No, dude. I was in bed by like 8 o'clock last night. The thing about Hellblazer is, I mean, you see him aging, don't get me wrong, but, like, there's not 80 years of stuff to build on. Like, what happened, and you're going to hear this a lot in the TV shows, the movies, the books, what happened at Newcastle, it all goes back to Newcastle, right? Mm-hmm. We always talk, like, it's always Newcastle. Follows him. I mean, I'm fucking 22 trades in, and he's still referencing Newcastle. He goes back to fucking Newcastle in the 21st trade. That's 200-something issues in, and that is still having repercussions in his life today, and he's at a later date than when he was then. And you're right. Maybe it is a relatability of an aging, you know, and he looks older. There's like a certain amount where he like goes on this carefree hippie bus ride, like not a hippie bus ride, but like he like just checks out from the whole fucking London scene, goes to the countryside. Like, these are things that I didn't do that exactly, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you do things in life and you can kind of relate them to other things. Like, his stuff is relatable. It's a progression of life. You get older and you realize you have responsibilities, and that, you know what, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do. I have to do it. But not only that, there's all of that. But then there's this, and this is something that doesn't happen in Batman, or it's rehashed, but like when someone dies in Hellblazer,
they stay dead.
They're dead.
Forever. Until they come back.
As a spirit or a demon or an angel or like
a hallucination.
Yeah, like he fucks people over. Straight up. He says that. He has a trail of bodies in his wake. I'm pretty sure that is said. Like, they haunt him. Like, there is shit in this new Hellblazer and in the previous incarnations of Hellblazer, even the new 52 Hellblazer, there is stuff that is cemented in from the original run that stays there, that haunts him, Astra, Newcastle, like, that whole thing. Zatanna's father, like, he straight up kills him. Straight up fucking murders him, essentially. Not by his hand, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that was part of that seance they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, they brought
there
back.
Is, and the other thing, too, is, and maybe it's because it's not 85 years, but, like, that shit sticks. Like, no one's gone, and It's not even the 85 years. It's the fact that it's Constantine. You don't need to reboot him. He's
but
like...
They
did, but like some of that stuff sticks. Like the same concepts were still there. The same hauntings. Like Newcastle still happened. There was stuff that stayed consistent. Even in the New 52 run. Even in Rebirth. And in this Hellblazer, there's like references to like older shit. The big thing with this Hellblazer is they're going forward on this idea that there's an old man John who's very happy, and he basically saves John's soul because John gets hit by a taxi cab sign, which is fucking hilarious. I don't care what anybody says. I know I said it last time, and I'll say it again. That is a funny fucking thing as many times over as he's fucked over Chaz. And that is a thing in this too. Live your best life, which is, I mean, he's tried, and that is funny too because he's tried to do that in these previous runs. Like, I'm not doing magic anymore. I'm dedicated to this woman, and he ends up fucking her over. Just like every time. Like, he has this thing. He just does it. That's another reason he is relatable. He makes mistakes, and he has to live with those mistakes. It's not like, erase. Like, he made mistakes. He has to live with them. I've been told that my entire life. You made the mistake, you fucking live with it. You do the crime, you do the time. For every action, there's an equal reaction. Like, his universe is very much that, where like Batman, like there's a new writer, all right, boop, boop, reset. Now, granted, Tynion's picking up from King's Run, and he's gonna do something different. There's gonna be characters that come back, and that's also the thing that bothers me. Like, they'll reboot parts of it,
but not
all
thing.
of it. Yeah. I'm gonna hold on to Alfred being dead. I'm gonna hold on to him being hooked up with Selena because they're working together in 86. I thought maybe they'd that. No, he kept that too.
Oh, that's spoilers. I didn't know that.
I'm sorry.
I was actually
I mean, I don't know that they're married, but they're working together on something. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good to know.
Like, so you're gonna 86 some of the shit, literally 86 some shit, but you're gonna keep other parts of it. Like, you can't pick and choose. Like, in my opinion, you can't pick and choose, and that's something about Hellblazer. Like, even this, the new, I'm pointing at the new shit, like...
It's not pointing, that's pounding.
Pounding. Okay, it harkens back to the old shit. Like, I talk about, the Presents Hellblazer, some of the points I made last time. The Madness of Magic, he basically sends Chaz to his doom and essentially hell. Okay? And then the cab blows up and it stabs him in the side. Alright? So, I don't know, at least in my runs, Chaz hasn't necessarily died, / he might have died and then he brought him back, or he saved him. He's saved his ass more than a few times. But like in this new one, he's dead. Okay? We have the Tim Hunter interaction with the alternate realities and all that shit. That's interesting as hell. He meets his future self, Sideways version. He's happy. Who is happy? And he makes a deal with himself when he dies. He tests him by like fucking putting a burn on his hand. And he wakes up in an insane asylum. The same insane asylum he always goes to. This is like a very consistent thing. Ravenscar always goes back to Ravenscar. That is where he goes with the burn on his hand. He talks his way out of the insane asylum. Also hilarious because there's just like these word balloons, word boxes. I'll call them boxes because they are straight up boxes of like, there's a balloon and then he edits in what he says. Like, generic reasons why I should get out of here, counting down from 10. And like just different shit. It's funny. He's very manipulative. We're already setting that up. All things that happened before. Chaz in the hospital with the ghosts that wait for John. the ghosts that are waiting for Jon are literally everything from the past. So now we have this harkening back to everything that happened before. Now we're connected. We're doing new stuff, but we still have the same Hellblazer. And the craziest thing is you start getting the Hellblazer 1, and especially Books of Magic, which I didn't reread, but like one of the big things with Books of Magic is when the original Hellblazer ended, we didn't have cell phones yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now all of a sudden Jon has this cell phone, and it's now 2019. Now we know that he's in 2019, and he acts, to your point, he's aging. He's acting like this old man, like, oh yeah, I'm not used to this technology. He feels out of place with it, with the Books of Magic. And especially in Hellblazer 2, you see that he's using the cell phone to contact the... can't think of his name. He's looking at porno.
The demon guy. I thought that was a nice implementation. Like, as a magician that has not been...
The Vestibulan.
Yeah. The Vestibulan. As having not been part of the current timeline, that they wove in a way that the magician has a new tool, but has made it magical at the same time. That was a nice touch.
And he's like extremely awkward about using it because he's this old man trying to use this new technology, which...
So do you feel that he's still the same age as he was in 300, or did they bring him younger?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out because I haven't gotten to 300 yet. And I'm trying to remember back to New 52, but I'm not going to lie, it's not as good as the first 300. But, like, it is interesting to see him age like that. And maybe that is why I like him so much. I also like the I don't give a fuck attitude.
Can't go wrong with that, yeah.
No, but, like... You raise a good point with the aging. Like, they've rebooted him, but, like, there's a solid 300 issues where he is what he is, right? Mm-hmm. There isn't, like, really any change about it. He's just growing on all the previous years. And because I've started from number 1 and gone through, even though it's trades, right? I've followed this character, and I've done it with Swamp Thing too, but like I've followed this character through, and I've watched him grow, and I've watched him change, and grow isn't the right word for Constantine, but I've watched him change, I've watched him go through all this shit.
Make the same mistakes again and again.
Yeah, it's... But that's a good point, too. Like, it's a lot of the same shit over and over again, but yet it's new and exciting every time. Why is that? I don't have an answer, but... Like, and you're not as intimate with him, but I can't explain it. Like I've said, he's fucked over people all the time. Like, he fucks them over in different ways, but, like, I get excited when he fucks over another person, like... You know what I mean? Like, well, no, that's what he does, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna fuck him over.
Well, no, yeah. It's the same thing with Dragon Ball Z. It's the same plot line all the time. Like, oh, there's a baddie. Oh, Goku has to fight him. Can he beat him? Yeah, he can, but how is he gonna do it? That's the question. What new inner strength in Constantine's case, like, demented rationale for...
Is that bad?
Having the same beats for the story?
Yeah.
No. I mean, you want to have some structure to the story. And if you're getting that high after every single retelling of the same plot point, but having that slight tweak always makes it better. It's the same reason you read any comic book, you watch any movie, you listen to any new song, is you're always trying to find that thing that tips you over the top. Like, you've read, like, all stories are the same. Like, there are no new original ideas. You're always looking for that slight iteration on it that makes it a little bit better than the last one that you read.
Or different viewpoint, different ideas, different ways of telling things. Yeah. Like the Batman's Grave is a prime example where we have this very intimate interaction between Batman and Alfred, and the idea of putting yourself in different shoes. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. But that's been done 100 times over in different things.
And it's going to be done 1,000 more times. Yeah. But every iteration of it is going to be different. Some are better, some are worse. But you're always looking for that better one. And so the Hellblazer thing, I think that you just, like, what you're striving for is, like, this is just me talking, like, without knowing all the history, is, like, you want Constantine to get better, to be a better person, because that's what he wants. But you want to watch him fail.
Yeah, well, and sometimes you feel like he might get better, and then he fucks himself over, and then it's worse.
But you want to see him do it in a new, exciting way.
Yeah. Well, and that's...
You want the stakes to be so high, and you want to be, like...
Maybe that's why New 52 isn't as memorable, because, like, it's a new way, but, like, it's kind of the same way. Like, New 52 rebooted everything. It's reestablishing everything. It's good. It's not as dark as this Black Label shit, I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, that's a plus, then.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
For the current run.
I will say it's not the Sesame Street of shit, but like
Sesame Street of demons is the quote.
Yeah. But it's not... This is on par with what I would argue was what Vertigo was doing. For now.
On par? This is suboptimal compared to what you were telling me.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, well, that's a recent thing. Like him, like not him, but like a guy fucking a dead dog. I don't know, it's gotten a little...
That's fucked up.
It's gotten a little tamer in this new thing, and at the end of that one, there was a Lady Constantine, which was a lot tamer. Still messed up, but like... Andy Diggle... You are one fucked up motherfucker. Like, that arc, I want to say it was 2-3 issues, where he goes back to Newcastle, is fucked up.
Alright. So we can come back to Hellblazer whenever you want to, but I did want to throw in, like, a weird thing from No One's in Control. You know how... They are talking about the very dark aspects of comics and how those were put to be like triggers in people.
By the way, I just want to say it's Nobody Is in Control. It's from Black Mask publishing company. It's kind of obscure. I want to say this was on Warren Ellis's, I hate to interrupt you, but the email chain, just so that people know what it is. It's written by Patrick Kinlan, artwork by Paul Tucker. It's weird, to say the least, but alright, sorry, make your point. You guys should check it out. I think it's only going to be 4 issues, but sorry.
No, so, like, that whole darker aspect and seeding that in the popular culture, I'm not necessarily saying that it is a trigger for people, but it is interesting to see that Hellblazer got so very dark, what you're reading at that current time,
yeah,
which is kind of what that's correlating with. I don't know when those issues of Hellblazer were published in relationship to the manga and comics that they were talking about. But it is interesting to see these very big shifts and swings in the whole storytelling sphere, because New 52 you said was tame. And you're saying this new Hellblazer is hearkening back to those old ones.
I feel that way. I feel there's a lot more blood and gore, and there's a... Not that there wasn't stakes. I honestly think part of it was the art style. The art style was not as, like, hard as this. Excuse me, number one. Number two, like... The stakes just didn't seem as high. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like...
that's a big issue.
I honestly think, too, there is some commentary to what the world deems okay. Because I feel like we've gotten overly sensitive over the years. I feel like there is some shit that came out when we were growing up that flew that would not fly today. I feel like reading Hellblazer, some of these older Hellblazers, like, I mean, they churned my guts a little bit. Like, not that I was, like, literally gonna vomit, or, like, you just kind of get a dirty feeling, or, like, a gross feeling, like, I don't know how to describe it.
No. I got it, because that's what, like, Gantz was.
Yeah, like, you feel bad for reading it, even though, like, it's meant to entertain you, and you have this weird, like, I'm entertained by this, but should I be entertained by this? Like, this is really fucked up. Like, if I'm enjoying this, is this wrong? And I almost feel like sometimes they do that just to create that feeling.
Well, no, it's a good feeling to create, because the best part about fiction is to actually invoke feelings in the reader, the viewer, the whatever. Like, that's the goal of the writer. And sometimes you gotta go down those dark paths. Like, the only reason people enjoy fiction is they want those highs and they want those lows. That's why people love comedy. They love laughing. That's why they love romantic dramas, because they want to feel those same emotions invoked in them, because the human brain has a hard time distinguishing what it's actually experiencing as real life situations and what's fictional. That's why the whole video game thing is so popular, because you can actually feel as if you are becoming this avatar for your own self. And when you start reading, you disassociate with your disassociate with your ego, and you become part of that character. Like, you are viewing things through their eyes. And so, yeah, as a writer, being able to make people feel disturbed but continue reading, like, that's not an easy thing to do.
Well, I would argue it hasn't happened for me in anything new coming out.
No, yeah, well, maybe Batman's Grave.
Yeah, I mean, Batman's Grave, yeah, that's a good point. Batman's Grave, I mean, I really enjoy Middle West. There is some emotional things for me there. But, like, I'm talking, like, Justice League, yep, don't care. The main Batman run, I mean, there was some parts where, like, I felt for Batman, but it wasn't like I had feelings, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's the difference for me with New 52 and the original Hellblazer and this new Hellblazer. Like, I'm starting to feel connected to this as it's developing. I'm starting to see and feel the John that I'm used to, that I'm familiar with, that I'm connected to, but, like, it's new and exciting. Like, the shit with the cell phone just fucking cracks me up. Like, especially in the Books of Magic, like, he legit is having troubles with it. Like, and even he makes, like, a couple comments to, like, the bouncer. Or not the bouncer, but, like...
I do really like their interaction.
Her and the bouncer and him? Yeah. Well, and that, too... I honestly feel like it really harkens back to the original 300 run, in that like he's very dated in his jokes. He's like, and he's very much in a different place. Like he makes note of that, and the fact that he's in 2019. This is the first time like I've seen a date in Hellblazer, like a date in which he is residing. You know what I mean? Which is interesting that one, it would date itself, but two, like where does the rest of it happen in relation? Like you can kind of get some like times and eras and feelings, but like it's kind of fluid. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how you want those kinds of stories to be. Anytime, like that was one of the problems with Doomsday Clock. Was that they were placing it in 2019.
Yeah.
You had Putin in it, and they had comments that kind of correlated with Trump without showing him, which was weird because they were trying to keep it sort of still vague, but not really. Well, but a lot of the times when you tell a story, you want it to be as fluid as possible. Putting a concrete date makes it dated.
Yep.
But
that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
But like, there's wiggle room to that because they get called period pieces then. Like Stranger Things is a very prime example of banking on the fact that it's set in a precise time, because that brings all the nostalgia feels to it. But when you're telling a news story, like, you don't want it to ever be dated. Like, you want it to always be relevant. That's why I'm just going to bring Dragon Ball Z up again. Like, Dragon Ball Z is kind of timeless because it
there's dinosaurs, there's robots, there's flying cars, there's people.
Yeah.
Anytime in the world.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't adhere to, like, a set point in time. Yeah. Like, it's still as relevant when it came out in the 90s as it is now in the 2020s.
Clearly, like, because I'm watching it.
And so I think a lot of the Hellblazer, like, you could read it now and have it still be perceived as present, but also, like, you understand that it's older because they don't have the cell phones and stuff. That's kind of the thing that's fucked storytelling up, is just the development of technology, how quickly it's been.
And like I said, in one of the newer Hellblazers in this Sandman Presents or Sandman universe, he literally says it's 2017 or 2019. Yeah. Sorry. Like, so I'm a little worried now with the datedness of it, but like, I don't know, this is a good story that I'm invested in. I mean, I got notes about him. I felt things about it. I'm like, I mean, the fact that Chaz is like, yep, double middle fingers, fuck you, dude. That's not that Chaz hasn't gotten pissed at him, but like,
this is the first time it actually had weight behind it.
Not that, but he calls, and it's not even like that he calls John out. It's Chaz saying, you know what? You've saved me a lot, and you always ask for favors. I owe you favors, and you fuck me over more. This isn't in the writing. This is the context that I read. You always fuck me over more. I'm now in a coma, and to help one friend, you are going to fuck over some old lady that you know nothing about, and you're going to torment her till the end of her days because she's also a vegetable, so that I can rest and die easy. Fuck you. I don't owe you shit. After what you put me through, I don't owe you anymore. It was almost like a realization that, well, Chaz was like, making his life better because like Constantine literally helps him kill his mother-in-law, and mother-in-law, one of the two. She's just a fucking bitch. Like, I felt for him, Anyway, rather than owing John something, he's like, you know what? Fuck you. Stop doing this for me. You just make shit worse. And that's why him getting hit in the side with the taxi cab sign is kind of, one, it's funny because he's fucked Chaz over millions of times, and now it's kind of like Chaz's, like, he fucks up Chaz's taxi cab numerous times too. Like, it's his taxi cab getting revenge, and then Chaz is like, yeah, fuck you, I don't want your help anymore, go to hell. And that hurts John because Chaz is somebody that, yeah, they've been through rough spots and shit's gotten fucked up, but like, he's always been able to go back to him. There are people in our lives that are rocks, like, you can always go back to them, and now that rock is like, yep, fuck you, dude. Don't want nothing to do with you.
Oh, so that's going to be some crazy development for John's story, then. That he doesn't have that cornerstone anymore.
If they stick with it, yes. And I honestly think that bouncer might end up being like a new cornerstone.
Oh, I got a theory on who she is.
Well, I'm kind of worried because, like, I'm kind of talking through this now. Like, I'm coming to the realization about, you were like, oh yeah, it's not a cornerstone. Yep. He's already connecting with her. I don't really want him to do that. I would rather him kind of wander around and go alone for a while, but who do you think she is?
His daughter.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
Well, I don't know. But he banged a lot of people.
Yeah, nah, he's got a kid out there. I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Oh, man, this is Newbie coming at you from the Hellblazer universe. Dropping some mad-ass bombs. And they have, like, similar bantering styles. Just the way they communicate.
Do you want anything to eat from Quick Trip?
I'm good.
Okay.
But thanks.
I'm going to get some Cheetos.
This is the 11:30 snack run. I only came up with that realization tonight, sitting here while we were talking about it.
Well, no, it's kind of an interesting concept because, like, yeah, one, he is a womanizer. He fucks a lot of women. Two, there is this old man him out there living a happy life. You would think the ideal happy life, you have a wife and kids and blah, blah, blah bullshit.
But is that the ideal happy life? Because old man Constantine was just like, live your best life. What's the best life for Constantine? Does him having a wife and a child and all that entails, it usually means being settled in a place and providing for said thing, for said family unit, and allowing the child to continue on to the best of its abilities, fit into what would be necessary for Constantine to live the best life. Like, do you think the old man Constantine has given up magic? Like, hardcore? Like, he made a deal with some deity?
You know what? You know what? No. And I honestly think now that we're talking about this and talking it through, old man Constantine is not happy. Old man Constantine is his future self that he's meeting. I honestly think is a miserable fuck. Oh. And he fucks himself over because that's John's thing, right? John can trick anybody. And maybe this whole run is going to be John tricking himself and realizing he got one over on himself in the future. Like, that would be a total mind trip, would it not? Yeah. I just fucking thought about that as we're talking through this.
Yeah,
Because the other thing too, like, I want to bring this up too, because we're talking about it. This totally explains away the demon blood too. So, like, if anybody's been reading Justice League Dark, you know that they ripped the fucking demon blood out of fucking Constantine, which is fucking bullshit, and I'm fucking pissed off about it. Not to mention they killed the goddamn Parliament of the Green, Swamp Thing. Take a shot. You don't want that. Anyway, what was I saying?
Demon blood.
Demon blood. So, like, he gets hit in the side, he's going to die. Clearly, he doesn't have the demon blood or he wouldn't die. He makes a deal with his future self, who...
But we don't actually know.
May not be happy.
May not be happy, and may not actually be him.
It is. He burns the cigarette on himself.
But it's a magical universe.
I honestly...
You could transmute that shit. No.
I honestly think this is... We can mark this down. We can go back to it. But as we progress this story, I honestly think it's his future self fucking himself over. He's not happy. He's not doing anything worth a shit. He fucks himself over to make himself better in the future. And past self is like, well, what the fuck?
Oh, so it's
But then there's, like, the whole idea of the butterfly effect. And then DC's got their multiverses. And, like, who the fuck knows?
So the future self is angry at the past self for fucking up and is trying to get him on the right path?
No, that could be.
Is that where you were going with it?
Well, no. Okay, so let's back up for a minute.
Or like it was just...
How do you sell your soul to your future self?
Well, that means that the future self...
Well, no.
The future self...
No, hold on.
You asked me a question.
Hold on.
You asked me a fucking question.
Okay, sorry, go.
All right, so if the future self no longer has a soul because they sold it to somebody, they need to have their own soul, and you could get it from your past self. So that means when the past self has to sell their soul to whatever deity to make whatever arrangement, in the future they no longer have it. But when the said deity comes back to collect that soul, in the future soul has the soul that they can offer in exchange for whatever the equivalent exchange is of the soul. But that gets into like a really weird grandpa's axe paradox thing.
So here's the thing that we're forgetting. Okay.
All right. I read it once.
No, I know. This was a note, and I'll explain the note. So the Sandman presents Hellblazer. We have the madness of magic. Like, that is a thing. That is a theme. When you have magic, there's a madness, and magic always has a cost, right? He sends Chaz to his doom, essentially to hell. Bam, right in the side with the cab sign.
That's going to be our new shot.
He has an interaction with Tim Hunter. I like that scene. It's funny.
That's why
I'm sorry. As a hardcore Hellblazer fan, fuck you. All right, so he has an interaction with Tim Hunter, and there are these alternate realities. So right there, we're setting the stage. There's the Tim Hunter he should have killed, and then there's the Tim Hunter seeing him, which kind of goes into the Books of Magic issue, which I don't want to focus on right now. He meets the future self sideways version, and he's happy, and he makes a deal with self, giving his soul to self when he dies. He wakes up in the insane asylum with the burn on his hand, proving that it's him, which you have an issue with. He talks his way out. Here's the thing. So I'm just going to kind of read some quotes. He's out of the insane asylum. My memory's already filing off the edges, compacting it down, trying to make it fit in a nice straight line. Like the Magic War. What fucking year was that supposed to be? So now we're already kind of fucking around with timelines. The Magic War, we have to remember they rebooted Books of Magic, but Books of Magic already came out years ago, and there was a Magic War. The Cold Flame is well established. I know this is all new to you, but it's a thing, okay? Just go with me. Just go with me here.
I'm with you. I've read a lot of comics. All right. I'm pliable.
Constantine. I should have strangled you myself 15 years ago. That's what he says. Take a shot.
Take a shot. Mic down.
Tip the mic. Oh,
double shot. This is a twofer.
Fucking double shots. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's bad audio. Apologies.
He's talking to Tim Hunter. So many lives, so many loves, so many memories that can't coexist. Till the heavens fall down. That's what John says to a woman. Heroes and horrors, scars and sorrows. John, if he ain't sussed the power rings, he's gonna have a fucking hard time. We'll say fucking hard time with what we've got. I'm a tangle, aren't I? I'm a junkyard of horrible fucking things that don't and can't add up. And half of them are too painful to save anyway. Memory, logic. It's like greed, like control. Every detail, it's got to fit together neat and tidy without a single skid mark, hint of a contradiction. And he's saying to himself, stupid, stupid. It's not how magic works. His thoughts. This game, it's not about neat and tidy. Owes more to story and meaning than cause and bloody effect. You'd go mad, well madder, trying to decide what counts and what doesn't, what's real and what's not, when the only question worth asking is what matters right now. Which I think is a very convoluted, cool way of saying, I've been through some shit. There's a lot of shit happening. But what matters is what's going on right now in my world.
Okay, can I jump in quick?
Sure.
All right, so when I read that, I thought that was the most succinct way they could explain a reboot.
Yeah.
And I thought it was bloody brilliant.
I agree.
Like, just that final part. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on, or what has happened, what's going on in the past. All that matters is right here, right now. This story we're telling.
I thought you were going to say it was bloody shit. And I was really worried because I thought, again, that was the coolest way of fucking saying, like, hey, strap in, we're going for a new ride. And you remember everything you knew before? We'll talk about that. And that matters. But the only thing that matters right now is what's happening. Yeah. Like, we'll build on them. We're going on a new adventure. But it just matters. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We didn't get to it last time. But
I wanted to read that page last time. My notes literally say, see bottom of page explaining different realities, trying to make them all fit. Great fucking quotes. Great fucking way of doing all this shit. And we should probably take a beer break because you should move your car in before you get too drunk because stuff's all now.
Okay. Well, I can't get too drunk right now.
Why?
Let's keep doing this.
So we're back, and we were talking about the idea of that being a really fucking great reboot. What's that you got in your hand?
I got Hellblazer number 2.
Which
we haven't actually touched. It kind of did, like bits and pieces.
Yes. So let me bring up my notes here. So.
You got notes on number 2? Did you get to read it again?
Yeah, I did it digital. Okay, so
did you pirate it?
Well, I mean, I already have a copy. You just had it in your possession.
You were giving somebody else money for it.
I read it for free. I didn't pay for it.
You read it for free, but you read it on a site that gets ads.
Yes, and let me
it's
say
bullshit.
This.
I don't actually care.
Okay, so no. Let me say this. Like, you sent me a couple sites, and like one of them was really good because it didn't have a lot of ads. And let me tell you, it has a lot of ads now, and I'm really fucking pissed off about it.
Oh, I haven't actually used them. Like, if I wanted to read shit digitally, I would have to ask you for those sites to get them.
Yeah.
Not that I couldn't find them, but
the first time, like, the one sucked. I didn't really do that one, but there was a different one. And, like, there wasn't a lot of ads, and now there are a shit ton of ads, like, on both sides of the page. So then I zoom in to try to get the ads out, and then shit gets all fucked up. Like, it's just not good. No, I'm good, dude. I'm good.
But it's...
No, I can't. So, in Hellblazer number 1, you find out there is this Haruspex that's killing drug dealers in the park, right? John's thrown out of this bar for shitty jokes, dated jokes. He meets a woman bouncer and a man from the past that's trying to kill him.
Dated jokes. They're still funny, though.
Yeah, okay.
they're pretty hilarious.
Yeah. He gets jumped and knocked out, and there's this gang that the Peckham Rye that wants to get rid of the Haruspex in the park so that they can sell their crack. I'm assuming it's crack. Drugs. Let's just say drugs. I said crack, but I said it's drugs. And Hellblazer number 2 is him actually getting into the meat of the problem, right? So in Hellblazer number 1, there's Issa and Noah. Noah's a mute, and John sees both of them, or we encounter both of them, and Issa gets sent out on a
blood run.
Yes, on a blood run to basically become a full member of the Peckham Rye, and then you're good. You're like an OG then, right? In Hellblazer 2, we open up with John going back and saying, hey, you know, I get what's going on now, essentially, but we find out that Issa is dead from his blood run. And John's like, he's worried. Let's say he's worried for Noah. The leader, no.
Is that uncharacteristic for John?
No.
He does actually have some humanity underneath that trench coat and cigarette smoke.
He does, until it becomes a me versus them moment, right?
But he's actually showing genuine concern for Noah.
And he shows genuine concern for others. I honestly think that him showing concern so early on and trying, like, this is where I want to say, like, the leader knows that John won't walk away from this.
The K dude. The leader guy is K something.
Yeah. He knows he won't walk away from this because now Noah's tied into this, and John has this humanity towards Noah, and he doesn't understand why he would want to be a part of this group, because that's not John's way. So, like, he doesn't really understand that gang mentality.
Well,
and then he has a flashback dream of being the best version, and his future self is saying the best version of you.
Which is all the stuff that you were saying wasn't going to matter in the presents.
No, I didn't. I don't.
Or was it necessary to read if you were an old school fan? You had some.
Here's my thing. Like, John tries to be the best person he can be, and he always fucks it up, or he always gets sidetracked, or he gets in a predicament where, and I think this is the humanity part, like, you can say, I'm down with the gang, I'm down with the boys, I'm down with the group, but there are very few people that will sacrifice themselves to save the greater good.
But the way that this issue was leading it up is that John is going to sacrifice himself for the Noah character. Not like he doesn't want this kid to get hurt. He doesn't understand why he wants to be in the Blood Gang, and that's what helps with the actual story where Noah does want to be part of the gang and is like, hey, this is spoilers for the ends or whatever, like, I know how to resolve this problem, let me do it. But the words that John has been saying to Noah indicates that he doesn't want this kid to be involved.
Yep.
Whatsoever.
Yep.
Like, he thinks that this kid can do better.
Yep.
He also gets talked to by the Sheik dude. So there's something else going on in there. So John's going to have to cover his own ass, because I think the Noah dude, like, making sure Noah is okay will take precedence in Constantine's own checklists of priorities. Like, making sure that kid's alive and okay is more important than him getting fucked, because I don't know who that Sheik dude is, but dude was gonna cut off his cock.
But so my argument is, knowing John and knowing what happens, John always promises to protect the person, and they always end up getting hurt.
But in this case, he has to protect the kid. Because if he doesn't protect the kid, he's going to get in trouble. By the Sheik people. This
no, he's told to not. Okay, so we're jumping ahead a little bit. He asks. He has the flashback dream of being the best version of you, and then he tells the leader of the Peckham Rye, "I will do this, but you have to promise me the kid stays safe." He does that before he even meets the Sikh dude.
And that's the thing that he usually does to protect people?
No.
So this kid's more important?
Well, no. He is... It's not that he doesn't do that. Like, he puts him... He hasn't been cornered yet. Which is the...
That's what they're doing right here.
Well, but we're not there yet. Okay, so, like... Alright, so let's just go through this.
I'll just let you run through it.
So he does a flashback dream of being the best version of himself. And then he wakes up out of this dream. And he's like, fuck. Like, I need to do something good. So he asks the spirit in the phone for a number for help. He's looking for a contact. We don't know who, but he's looking for a contact. And then we go back to him interacting with... He leaves... Let me just look at the issue quick. He leaves the Peckham Rye leader's place
to go take a piss.
So... He talks to the Peckham Rye, send him on a blood run, heroic sea, just like Issa. Okay, so I want your word you won't hurt this little Muppet. He's pointing to him. I was just messing before. How could you I bruck this youth? He's fam. And he needs someone to escort John onward. You get this done, Noah gets up to full member like that rude boy. Okay? Course he would, because only other way to the top for Tiny like this is send him on a blood run like Issa, who's already dead. Okay? So he's telling John, you do your thing. I won't touch Noah. And then he talks to Noah as like, what are you clattering around with this bit? Honestly, mate, why would you want to belong to a bunch of angry little tosspots like that? And he says, look around. It's better to stand behind a tiger than in front of the wolves. Okay, so that is why you find out his motivation. And then he's like, I'm sorry about your friend. This game, there's always a price made. Like, I feel like he feels connected to this kid in that the kid's making a sacrifice. And then you see this Sikh dude watching them. John goes home. He has a dream about being the best version of himself. Then he talks to the spirit dude about getting a contact of sorts, and then he ends up in the bar. She and him are talking, and the William Blake aspect comes back up, which I haven't done any real research about William Blake, but apparently he's a poet who's
it's trippy.
Yeah, who's seen some shit, and he realizes that William Blake saw the angels in the tree in the park, and that gets John riled up, and he leaves, right? He goes to the pisser because he's like, holy shit. And then the dude in the bathroom holds a knife to his dick and tells him to leave Noah, which is the mute kid, alone. After that, John goes to the park. He meets that dude that tried to attack him before, which is enough to get the angel supposedly to come out, which he summons the Vestibulin out of his phone to fight the angels, but it's
the
not
specs.
Yeah, but it's not an angel. It isn't the holy flesh.
Wait, what?
Well, he says that.
Well, no, it was a very confusing page. I don't know where that dog came from.
That's a tiger.
That's a tiger.
That's the tiger. Which William Blake quotes.
Right. I got aspects of that. I just don't get why it showed up.
Okay, so he gets that dude that looks like a scrotum to come and do something evil to get the Haruspecs to come out.
Right.
And he summons the Vestibule, and it's Libra time and such forth. He says vengeance. And Scrotum dude's like, what? And he's and John's like, it's pretty standard fare as vendettas go. See the Vestibule in there. He was turfed out of paradise after the big war because he wouldn't join either side. So he's like in this limbo. And he can fight it. Stands to reason he's got some issues to work through. When it comes to angels, though, that's something you don't see every day. And the Vestibulin's like, this is not holy flesh, meaning it's not an angel. But this is a thing of thought and vapor. And John's like, yeah, I wondered that. You knew these were not true divinities, yet dared to summon me too. And he says, give it a rest. Now he goes back to an old, crazy, racist dude that you meet in the park before.
So that guy is the guy who created it.
That is the quote-unquote what he believes to be William Blake. Because now Constantine basically reads off of Wikipedia on his sweet-ass fucking cell phone. This shit, and the dude's like, wait, how do you know that? And he's like, well, I'm reading it off of Wikipedia. So that leads me to believe that is William Blake.
Well, no, I got that. It's just where the tiger manifested.
Oh, well, they explained that. They explained for that. Because he's like...
So that was William Blake's, like, his thoughts with his poetry. It manifested it.
Well...
Or is it from the horror specs?
Well, yeah. No, it's his poetry. So that's the monkey here working on a theory. You ever seen a tiger, a real one? And he's like, well, a tiger, well, what? A strange question, I actually have. And then he talks about being in Iraq in 1991. And
so
he sees this dead tiger. I cried for 2 hours. There must have been a menagerie there before the war. A lot of the oil sheiks had one. It was painful in beauty. This masterpiece, this vision of creator's art, preserved by the day winds. They hadn't killed it, you understand? They profaned it. Those fucking savages, those raghead scum. Hey, hang about, don't. Also, they could steal its silver collar, which I don't know what that means. But we find out that this dude clearly has some sort of a vendetta. And I personally think it's William Blake, who is, like, unrested and, like, haunting this park.
Well, no. Yeah, I totally agree. And see, the thing is so there's a shit ton that William Blake has done. I didn't do nearly enough research to actually cover it. He has tomes and tomes and tomes of poems. Like, he created his own mythology, his own variation of reality as he sees it through London. It's pretty trippy. There's, like, the Vayos.
Vayos. I did not get to do this. Okay, I'm listening.
I didn't do it nearly as well. I just gotta
make a comment. Like, I wanted to, and then Dragon Ball Z happened.
I just did a periphery fucking, like, thing. I don't have anything, like, actually in my mind that I can bring forth to the table to talk about this. But the thing is I really hope that that's what Size Superior is going to be doing, is delving into that mythos. Like,
I don't know if he is, but he's definitely referencing it.
Well, no, and that's... I'm really digging this run.
Yeah.
So far off of the 2 issues that I have, and I think there is a lot of potential for it, but I don't want to sound derivative to, like...
You can.
To Size Superior, because maybe he's doing exactly what I'm hoping he's doing, but I don't think he's going to.
Nope.
Just by virtue of it being...
The next issue is going to be the last issue of this arc.
Is it?
Yeah, it says... The problem of Peckham Rye comes to a deadly finale, and John makes Noah an offer he cannot refuse.
No!
Okay, so here's the thing.
No!
Here's the thing. I honestly think you're onto something with the alternate reality of blah, 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 and bullshit. He says, you wouldn't know what a thought platform is, I suppose. This is John. Tonga's shit like that. No, doesn't matter. All this horrible stuff, it's not your countenance divine, chum. It's the bloody angels killing these kids, isn't it? And he's like, thanks for the umbrella. Must be getting along. Nah. All you must do, my old China, is stop it. And then you see him, like, walking, and he says, or? And shit's getting crazy in the park. Mm-hmm. So clearly he is in control of these quote-unquote angels, which are not angels. Something's fucking happening, and you see Noah running, cars, you see him running, and Noah claims, he says, don't need that bastard, I know how to fix this, trust, 1 bullet, it's done, and you see the leader of the Peckham Rye handing him a gun with him on his notepad saying, let me. So I don't know what that necessarily means.
Right there at the end?
Yeah, right there at the end.
Oh, no, he just has to kill the old man.
But can you kill an old man who's not necessarily real?
Where does he say he's not real?
Nowhere. But my question is he
real? From Noah's context, though, he doesn't necessarily know that he is an angel or whatever kind of apparition he is. He just knows that the old man is controlling the fucking Horospecs. If we take out the guy who's controlling the Horospecs no longer exist. We can sling our drugs in the fucking park. No?
I don't think that actually necessarily gets rid of the Horospecs, personally. Just my
opinion. No, if like the reason the Horospecs exist is because the old man is bringing them into existence. The William Blake
is he real? Is the
old man real? As far as Noah is concerned, he is real.
I don't think that Noah ever necessarily addressed him, though.
So, like, Noah wants to kill either one or two people. He wants to kill the crazy old guy in the park, or he wants to kill Constantine. And there is no reason for him to want to kill Constantine because Constantine has his back. Actually, no. At the beginning of this issue, he's calling Constantine a cunt, a liar, a twat, all the very negative derivatives. So he probably wants to kill Constantine? It's good radio.
I'm sorry, but like Noah never addresses the old man in the park.
No one does.
And we know no, he doesn't.
No one does except Constantine.
Yeah. Which means he could be a ghost, spirit, etc. as well. And Constantine straight up asks him, like, oh yes, very holy place. Do you know we have angels here now? When they're in the park, the old man. I heard about them. You wouldn't know where they're coming from. From God, wouldn't you think? Now, at the end of number 2, we find out that John's accusing him of being the one in control of these quote-unquote angels. I mean, okay, abstractly, that's one. The continent's divine, reaching forth to purify this poison city. Look at it. Marks of weakness, marks of woe. The invisible worm that flies in the night. And
so as a viewer, how are you supposed to distinguish what entities are or are not real when Constantine is interacting with them? What is the criteria? Because as far as I'm concerned, that old guy has tangible flesh. Another individual could see him. He's not an apparition.
You don't know. That's the thing. There's been times where I'm like, this guy's real, and then Constantine's the only one talking to him. And then you find out later, like, yep.
But there are panels that kind of intertwine to show that no one else is actually interacting with this being.
Well, if you look, no one actually interacts with him other than Constantine. Which is something I didn't notice before until we were talking about it. Noah he wants to do, like, so John's talking to him, and he's like, kiddies, oh dear me, the angels would never hurt a person, they cleanse the unclean. Meaning, the godless and the dark. Meaning people who are selling drugs, right? There's one right behind you now, and he says, aw shit, which meaning Noah's behind him.
Dude, that was racist as fuck.
Okay. He says, aw shit. And then someone off in the distance says, hey, Rye Boys, you here? Huh. And there's another. And, Rye Boys, I need a hit. I can pay. And he says, leave it, Noah. He's an old man, raise his fists. won't fix it. I told you to wait in the car. You want to see angels, holy man? He doesn't necessarily... Noah's not necessarily addressing the old man walking away, saying, you want to see angels, holy man? More than likely, Noah doesn't interact until the dude says, hey, Rye Boys. Which, Noah is a Rye Boy.
Wait, who says, hey, Rye Boy?
The crackhead.
Okay.
Rye Boys, please. I think maybe I punched that lady too hard, but I got cash. I just Jesus need Christ. Please. I just need a hit, right? And then it begins. They come out of the trees as always. Oh, fuck me, John says. The magician is hoping the junkie is too absorbed in pain to notice. In this, he's disappointed. Where the angels come out, the quote-unquote angels come out, and fucking rip him to shreds. Interesting. For once, the angels seem disinclined to skin their prey. This is new. It perplexes the Haruspecs, as incidentally does the child's instinct help. Oi! As Noah's running towards him, as a fool then, as well as a mute, the novelty continues. Crooning delightedly, the angels deposit a legion of somethings into the flesh of the junkie. They look like fleas. John tells Noah to stop it. You can't help him. Can't fight. So that means Noah's not even going after the old dude that John was talking to that we now know in issue 2 is in control of the Haruspecs, which we assume, well, we don't know. We assume he's in control of the Haruspecs because I believe he's a William Blake who saw the angels in the park in his poems. And I think Noah's trying to save the junkie because he knows that he can make money off of it. And then there's this whole other fucking thing at the end of issue 1, which I don't know. But they talk about, like... Sorry. There's like...
I really need to just get these issues so I can be paging through them at the same time as you.
Like, the Prime Minister possibly is involved in some fucked up shit. Like, I honestly think this is going to blow, like, a whole lot wider open. I'm sorry, I don't mean to page through. You can page through. But, like, at the end, he's in some sort of, like, a fucking sex club. And he says, oh, yeah, Prime Minister, and the guy walks out. Like, that hasn't been addressed in issue 2 at all. We 3 hours deep. Pretty fucking close. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'd have to reread that aspect again. Well, no, that's what I was talking about. This is a very political comic.
Well, and there's, like, a lot of really deep fucking shit, like, happening on a few different levels, which I'll say it, and I've often fucking considered it, and yet I still buy weekly comics. I don't know why I do, because I don't know how anybody can read a monthly comic and keep it all straight from month to month. Because I remember, like, I was reading Batman's Grave #4 just a couple days ago, and I was like, man, I mean, I kind of remember 3, but, like, it'd be really nice if I could reread 2 and 3 real quick. Because when I read 1, and then when I got #2, I reread #1 and then read #2. Like, wouldn't it be just easier to wait for it for a trade and then just read the whole thing? I know.
It's a very interesting thing, because you could be talking about, like, this medium is outdated, potentially. But then at the same time, don't you want to have a single monthly issue that keeps your attention the entire time it's gone?
Well, and maybe the fact that I'm trying to read 12 other things while I'm reading this, maybe I need to focus on the good shit and just be done with the shitty shit like X-Men. where it's like fucking clouding my vision with all the other fucking bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the issue is if you're just saying that you're going to wait for a trade, so you wait the 7 months that it would take for a trade to actually come out. You sit down, you read it, you get your 6-issue fix. Then you're going to be waiting another 6 to 7 months to get your next 6-issue fix.
Do you think that's why we enjoy old comics where we can get an omnibus at a time?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a real big fan of being able to get with 7 Deadly Sins where I'm able to get 36 issues, 36 trades, and I can read all that shit straight.
Well, and that's saying something for manga where a lot of it is just like fight. Yeah,
well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
at some point.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I'm just saying, like, there's a difference between that. But even like Western comics, like maybe that's why I like reading Hellblazer, and then all the trades, like 21 ended and it was a clean cut. I start on 22 and it's a whole new story. Like, there are these clean cuts. And honestly, the other thing I wanted to bring up, like, I was on Midtown looking at comics the other day, and I saw, Sex Criminals. There's a new Sex Criminals coming out. And if you look at, like, Image and some of the other, like, indie comics, it'll say start of story arc or end of story arc. Because I picked up Criminal number 12. Because I'm like...
It's been a minute.
I dropped Criminal because I wanted to do X-Men, and now I'm going to go back and fill in the blanks. But I was like, well, 12 just came out. I'll pick it up right away. That's one less I have to get. And it was like, end of story arc, Teague dies. Sorry, guys. If you're reading Criminal, apparently Teague dies in the next issue that I haven't even gotten yet. But it says end of story arc. Well, don't worry about it.
It's important.
End of story arc. Like, there are very clear markings, and like I picked up the next Sex Criminals and it says start of story arc. And I'm like, well, that's great. Now I know where to start. And they didn't reboot the numbering, and they didn't reset everything. It's starting out on issue, I believe, 26 or 28, one of the two. Like, and it keeps going. And I'm like, well, I've read, these, and these. I have some floppies, but like, I really like Sex Criminals. It's picking up, and I just dropped a shit ton of stuff, so I can afford to add that to my list. But it's cool in that at least they're telling you about the story arcs. Now, looking at the synopses of any DC or Marvel comic,
take a shot.
It doesn't tell me that. Swamp Thing, take another shot.
Twofers.
You guys are going to get fucked up. But it doesn't tell...
I don't know. At like 3 hours, you can't wait for our cues, man.
I threw Swamp Thing in numerous times.
Well, they blacked out by now.
Hey, did you give me a Swamp Thing poster for my birthday? The fucking slap up on the wall? Yeah, you bitch. Nope. I got taco holders.
You need a poster of Swamp Thing wearing one of the Court of the Owls masks.
I don't think they make that, but it'd be fucking cool as hell. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, I remember ranting once before, like, how they have to reboot shit all the time so people feel like they can get in. Here's an idea. Advertise it as such. Start of a new story arc. End of a story arc. You could have done that with Tom King's Batman run. There are starts and ends to story arcs. Is there an overall story arc for the all 85? Yes. But I picked up at 54, 53, 54, somewhere.
But you got roped in at 50. 50 was
okay.
50
so
wasn't advertised.
I read 50, right? So I got roped in. I didn't need to read 1 through 49. Am I going to go do that now? Yes, I'm working on it, but I want to get the floppies because I got, X through X on floppies. So now I'm like the completionist I am. And
so their advertisement worked. Because their advertisement got me to hook you up.
Your advertisement worked.
But it's their advertisement. DC just wanted
Was
to
it?
Yes. Their advertisement was to get somebody invested in this series.
Because they were getting married or because of a new story arc? There's a difference.
It was a story arc. It was the end of a story arc.
Big difference.
It was the end of a story arc.
But
the beginning of a new story arc.
There's a big difference.
It was an advertised event.
Okay.
It wasn't categorized.
Did they say end of a story arc?
So you need the arc aspect in that.
Well, no, I'm just saying, would that not make it easy?
It would be easy for people to jump on. But
thank you. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I thought it was interesting that, like, it said that on Image Comics. On Image Comics, end of a story arc. Start of a story arc. Like, that's not interesting to you? That Image goes out of their way to advertise that way, where they're appeasing the collector who wants 1 through 500, but also giving the new comic person a way to get into something.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. That's all. That's the only point I was trying to make there.
It's impossible to disagree with that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's something DC and Marvel doesn't do, because Guardians of the Galaxy, perfect example. 1 through 6, one story. 6 through 12, another story. The most recent Guardians of the Galaxy, the Kate's run, right? And I said it would have really been nice to know when they were going to do 6 through 12, even though I would have bought all 12 anyway because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. But as a reader, like 1 through 6 sucked ass. I did not enjoy it. Don't care. I don't know any of these characters. Ghost Rider, yeah, whatever. 6 through 12 was cool. That's when you're getting it. That's when we're getting because you're connected. Yeah, you're connected to Ghost Rider. I am not, and that's fine. We differ on different shit. But I'm saying 6 through 12 was my jam because now we got Rocket coming back and he's all fucked up and he's living in a fucking super mech like a Gundam. That's badass. Like, they didn't advertise that way at all. I know because I looked at it. It was just like, it's all a continuing story arc. Not really. There was a 1 through 6 and a 6 through 12. You read the intros to the comics. There is this story arc and there is this story arc. There is the story arc that got Peter Quill to this point, but if you pick up, this is where it is. You can tell DC's harder because they don't do like the synopsis, but Marvel always does a synopsis at the beginning of the book, and you can always tell where the number that they left off at is ish. They don't tell you a number, but you know the story arc because this is what happens up to this point of this story. Because Stan Lee was also very much, every comic is somebody's first comic picking up. That message has rung true for Marvel. So they have that intro page. Every single Marvel comic book I've read, there's a page at the front.
That disappeared for a while, though.
Okay.
And then they brought it back.
Okay. My bad. Recently. And they won't tell you a number, which is a marketing strategy. But I'm just saying it's fucked up.
That's a marketing strategy? To not tell you the number?
Yeah, because then you're going to go back and buy all these issues to try and find the one where you need to jump in.
But
or go
once
online.
You bought the book, you know the number.
But you don't know how many to go back.
When it says 817, you know there are 816 issues prior to this one that you know you have to buy.
Do you think you need all 800?
You do.
No.
I'm sure there are some people who do.
I mean, I'm not going back and buying Swamp Thing #1. 1, I can't afford it. 2, I don't give a shit.
But if it came out in a trade, you would buy it.
I already did. Okay. I'm just saying, like, but that's a... All right. My argument is we reboot. All it is just new stories. Hellblazer is a prime example. We keep the basis of Constantine there. A lot of his history still remains. Batman. He's still Batman. You did 1 through whatever for New 52. You did 1 through whatever for Rebirth. 1 through 85 for Rebirth. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, every single one of these stories matter.
Yep.
To someone.
Yep.
And that's the entire point.
You did 1 through whatever for a story, and then let's say 1 through 10 is one story, 10 through 20 is another story, 20 through 30 is another story. Rather than rebooting every time, couldn't you just say, hey, end of a story arc, start of a new story arc, end of a story arc, start of a new story arc?
So you're arguing...
If you do that, no, it's just... I would even argue for Tom King's shit. Okay? The Wedding. You said that's a good time to get in, right?
Because that's when I got in, and that's when you got in.
Did they advertise it that way? Did they say, hey, guys, we know we've been doing this for 50 issues, but this is a good time to get in? No, you read it, and you were like, hey, this is really cool. You should get in. I'm going to go backfill everything, and I'll let you know, but you should get in here because this is cool. I'm going to give you this issue because of what he did, how he did it, and how cool it was. And it was. It literally got me hooked on that shit. And I was like, I'm not going to tell JD, but I'm going to fucking order the issues going forward because, you know, I want to follow this shit because it's interesting as fucking hell. But DC did not say, hey, this is a good place to pick up. Nowhere did that.
But they did that with the Bendis run. They've done it with Justice League. The only Bendis run for Superman that is in existence.
Oh yeah, currently. They started that over at #1.
They've done it with Aquaman.
Started that over at #1.
It was a continuation. They had new writers.
But they started it over at #1.
I don't think they started over at #1.
Pretty sure they did. Pretty sure I have it.
You have Aquaman #1 from like a year ago?
Yep.
Because after Drowned Earth, they were going to
They rebooted it
number
as #1.
Did they?
I think so. Pretty sure I bought it.
Okay.
Maybe
so
not.
then it worked for you. It worked for you because you got a good jumping on point because they advertised it. And DC was doing
as
the
a
stuff that you don't
#1.
like.
As a #1.
As a good jumping on point. That's the points of #1s. What you want is the continuous numbering and having good jumping on points.
Yep.
And they're going to be doing that this year.
Oh, okay.
This week.
Okay, now they get it. Now they get it.
With Wonder Woman.
Yep.
750.
Why? Why are they doing that? Didn't they just restart Wonder Woman? Now they're going back to legacy numbering.
No, because they heard you. They're like, Jeremy has a very good fucking point.
No.
We want to make sure that
This is fucking bull fucking shit.
Well, no, it's a cash grab scheme, but you are complaining about the very thing they're trying to rectify. No, and you're calling bullshit on them.
I don't care about the #1. I don't care about that. There are story arcs. Justice League is a prime example. There are different points in Justice League where you could jump on without rebooting it to #1. So much so that they never rebooted it to #1. The current Justice League that I've read and known because you got me into Justice League, right?
48 now?
Yep. Whatever. Don't fucking care. There are multiple storylines in there. First, it's a source wall. Or no, I'm sorry. First, it's these fucking things from Metal. Then it's the source wall. Then it's something with Lex Luthor. And now we're at the pinnacle of fucking bullshit with Lex Luthor. Okay?
It's bullshit?
I'm getting fed up with it. Not gonna lie. I've considered dropping it, but I'm this deep. I'm gonna finish it, and when they reboot it, I'm gonna be like double middle fingers.
It should be over. Snyder's run on that should be over, and then you gotta get Hell Arisen.
Well, it's not over yet. I just ordered a regular Justice League the other day. Anyway,
no, Snyder's off of it.
No?
Yeah.
For what release? What he ended on?
There was the Justice Doom War thing.
Yeah, it hasn't. I haven't gotten the last issue of that.
That ended still at the in pinnacle. December or January?
No.
I don't know. They had solicitations that had the arc after him, where he was not actually on it. Because whatever the Justice League run that Snyder was on goes into the Hell Arisen.
Well, Justice League number 39 that comes out on 1/29/2020 is still Scott Snyder. Oh, I guess that's the end of the Justice Doom War. Am I still waiting for something else then? Maybe I got to the end of it and I don't even know it. Maybe I didn't read it yet. I just know that it hasn't. Oh, I gotta pee.
Beer break, motherfuckers!
It hasn't fucking ended. I read the most recent issue of Justice League that I have, and it's not over.
Show for Oscar.
Oh, I'm sorry, Oscar. I'm sorry, dude. And we're back, and I'm now going to blame you for getting me into all this fucking DC bullshit that was cool in the beginning and then went to shit around Drowned Earth. Justice League, fucking Batman. I'm just gonna blame you for everything.
Alright, but here's
so fuck DC and fuck you.
But I got you into it when it was good. And then
fair point.
And then I got out when it was shitty.
Yeah, and some of us just are completionists. You really want that cheese, don't you?
Cheese is good.
I don't want to feed him a Cheeto. I don't know what that'll do to him.
I mean, he licked my sausage flavored pants for like 10 minutes straight, so.
That's what he was doing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, meat and sausage is different. All right, anyway. Task at hand. You got me into all this shit.
Yeah, because it was good.
It was good coming out of Metal.
So I don't know.
Terrifics was cool coming out of Metal. Plastic Man was cool coming out of Metal.
No, so this is a thing that I have been thinking about quite a lot. Was when we were reading the DC shit that was coming out on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, and Marvel, all that shit. What was that? 2018?
18,
19. Like, we were hyped.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were coming out of Metal.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because we were new to the comic game or the stories were actually interesting. Because I know we fell off.
Well, I
fell off, like, really quick.
I don't want to say we were new to the comic game.
Well, I was pretty new to the fucking floppy game. Not gonna lie.
No.
I was getting into a lot of things that I thought were gonna be real cool, based off of the hype. Cause that's what I think. I think a lot of the shit has to do with the hype. Like if you're hyped about it, you will continue to get it.
Let me see here. So like going on CBR and seeing how awesome X-Men is right now.
Well, no, that's part of the hype.
Because fuck X-Men right now.
Well, no, because I was going off the hype of things that I read on those sites. But if I read them and they didn't fulfill those hypes, I stopped reading them.
Let me ask you something. You listen to CBR still?
I read them, yes.
I'm sorry, no. Comics Conspiracy.
Yeah, I do.
What do they think of the X-Men?
They are not fans of it.
Okay.
They don't know where any of this is going. They want to be hyped, but they are unable to be hyped. Higgins has said that there is a concrete number of X-Men titles that should be coming out. He says there should be one every week, but he will facilitate 6 insofar as one of them is a Wolverine title and another title.
Wait. 6 a week?
No. 4 a month, 1 every week, but he'll allow 6 titles insofar as a month. Yeah, insofar as one of them is an X-Men title or a Wolverine title, and one of them is, he said some team name or something. Which is what you want. That's what you want.
I would agree. That's what I want.
And it would do...
And you know what? What you said, like, they want it to be good. Like, they're hoping it goes somewhere good. Has Bryce been on?
Not for a minute. No.
Okay. I'm curious what his take on it is, because he's, like, fucking cable fan #1. Along with other dude, cable fan #1, but he is like the X-Men dude, my barometer, because he said some shit where I'm like, yeah, that was shit. Anyway, that right there tells me, like, I keep buying it because I want it to be good.
Well, no, that's...
And I gave them a super fucking long time, and I do not own a comic book shop, and I cannot just read them for free, and I'm done.
Well, no, that was the reason I was in The Dreaming, House of Whispers, Lucifer, Books of Magic, Justice League Odyssey.
I still think Dreaming's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's
coming to an end, though.
Yeah, I know. It has nothing to do with Sandman, but I like it. It's cool. It's a good story.
Well, no, it's just whatever hype that we had when we or I got into the floppy game. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, if it was our sensibilities that shifted, or the writing style shifted, or what our expectations were for what we were reading shifted, that has suddenly caused this, I don't know, disassociation with the media that we actually enjoy. Like, it's very irritating, because I want to be excited for the next issue. I don't want to be like, why am I buying this shit?
Yeah, but at the same time, too, like, we talked about this. Like, we have read more comic books in the past year. To call it January 2018 to January 2020. Like, or I'm sorry, did I say 2018 or 2019?
You said 18.
Okay, so January 2019 to January 2020. Sorry. We have read more comic books than we probably ever have before, right? And I would argue that a lot of that has to do with our floppy game.
Yeah, I have.
Even though we started in like 2018. So let's just say 2018, 2019. Like, we read a shit ton of comic books. Okay? A lot of it has to do with the floppy game because we were reading monthly books weekly, because every week some shit comes out. we were super excited. We were super whatever. But I would argue in years past that we read more quality over quantity.
Yeah. But it's easier to do with trades when you got word of mouth.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I would argue, like, trades are the way to go, man. I can't remember what happens month to month. I can't be the only one.
You just have to have a title that you are actually invested in. Like that.
I'm invested in Hellblazer, and like month to month, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go back and reread that. What the fuck happened?
Then that's an issue. Because your entire thing is, especially when you go with novels, is like you carry that character with you and you are able to remember. I understand that there's a very different ability for the writer to convey the things that happened in the past in a novel in a short amount of pages based on the entire work of... You give me a hand gesture. I don't know.
Totally different. I would argue that a novel is totally different in that when you pick up a novel from the beginning, they start a story, they end a story. The characters develop. I can remember the characters. I can remember where they are in like a development sense, but like the story starts and ends in a book. I read it in a week, less than that if it's really good, depending on how many pages. I mean, I used to chomp those fucking 1,000-page 3-novel Warhammer books in 2 weeks, right? Like I just couldn't put them down, right? There's a difference between a novel, a story with a beginning and an end, and yes, there's character development, and then there's the next book. I get that. It's a lot easier to keep track of than a comic book from week to week.
No. But my point is that you want the exact same thing that you have in a novel in a single issue.
No.
Yes, you do. You want a beginning, a substantial middle, and a cliffhanger ending. You want everything that you can have in a novel compacted into a single issue. It requires a lot more work. You want this piece of art to stick with you.
You know what I'd rather have? Once a month, I get a Hellblazer with 4 issues in it. Beginning, middle, and end. Once a month, I get a nice, like, 80-page trade that I can read a substantial amount of Hellblazer where he starts here and he ends here. And then next month, I get another 80-page Hellblazer or Batman or whatever. Because I will tell you, reading Hellblazer as long as I have, trade-wise, because I was late to the game, I read 21. I'm reading 22. But I will tell you, when I read 20, it started, it ended. 21 picks up, it starts, it ends. He grows, he develops. I can remember high key points, right? Like, I'm good at even this, but like, there is not enough here to even be like, here's the high points, because we're 3 issues in. That's not enough to say this is where it's going. The fact that we're 3 hours in now.
We're a little bit drunk though.
It doesn't matter. Like, straight up,
kinda does.
We're speculating a lot on this. We're not even a complete story in.
On what, Hellblazer?
Yeah.
No, that's
my problem.
You don't want to speculate?
I like speculation. Don't get me wrong.
That's the
But at the same time, like, speculation is great for a podcast. For me as a person, all right, now I have to wait a month.
No, because this industry relies on you conversing with other people that are reading the same story to speculate. Really? Yeah. Like, that's the whole Wednesday release thing.
Okay.
I've never been part of it. You've never been part of it. No. We should maybe try to be part of it.
No,
and
because here's the thing.
How comics
because here's
work.
the thing. I would argue it doesn't work because, okay, let's say Hellblazer. Well, in reality, Hellblazer came out this Wednesday. Let's say I go to a comic book shop and I get it, right? I don't remember what happened in 3 or in 2 because you still have my 2. Let's say I even reread digital number 2. I sit at my comic book shop and I read number 3. I talk about it with people. I'm like, yeah, X, Y, and Z, same points I made tonight. Don't really know where it's going. It's pretty cool. I like the future. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. He's still growing. Ha, ha, ha. Yep. Cool. Now I'm going to wait 4 weeks to come back and talk to you about it. Right? Because that's the next time it comes out. I'm not going to remember it in 4 weeks. And maybe I'm old. And maybe I am not dedicated enough to reread it. Now, don't get me wrong. I can sit down and I can read it and I'll be like, all right, I kind of remember the previous one. I don't need to reread that. But I don't remember all the nuances enough to actually sit down and have an intelligent conversation with you about it.
But if it was the only title that you were reading, you would be able to do that.
But that's the problem. No one does that.
But that's how you could do it. Because in these, I don't know, 4 issues, I'm including the Books of Magic, there is a wealth of conversation that we could be having.
Mm-hmm. I think we've had some of that conversation.
Yeah. And so we sit down today, we talk. We'll hypothetically think that this is, we go to a comic book shop every single day, or every single Wednesday. And we both really, 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 really enjoy Hellblazer, and everything else that we're reading is just periphery. We would both, when we started talking about it, we'd be like, this William Blake bloke, he seems to be very important to the story that Sci Superior is telling at the current moment. We both had said that we didn't do the proper research. So this is Wednesday number 2 after Hellblazer number 2 came out. And we've already read it, and we talked our talking points. Week number 3 comes out. We've both done research on William Blake. And now we are discussing the intricacies of how his poetry is currently affecting the Hellblazer universe. We have our banter back and forth, our interpretations of his poems, which are crazy. You've listened to some crazy-ass podcasts. I've listened to some crazy-ass YouTube pages. We come back week number 4, and we discuss these theories that we have together when issue number 3 comes out. We're super hyped about what we both think, and we read number 3. And we know that the next week, we've got a bunch of talking points to talk about with this single issue.
Maybe we're doing this wrong.
Well, no. I don't think any of the other issues have the potential philosophical
yeah, so you're saying like a Batman or a, yeah. No.
No, they don't have the depth.
No.
Whatsoever.
Well, and that's something too. But like there's other things too, like even the indie shit, you're just like, huh, what? This is totally new. can't. This is unique. I honestly think this is unique. Hellblazer is unique in that they steal a lot from current mythology, theology,
politics are in there.
Politics, poetry, literature, like anything's fair game. Like I think this Hellblazer is a rather unique thing, but like Batman week to week, like month to month, bi-weekly to bi-weekly.
Dude, we had
Justice League Dark bi-weekly to bi-weekly. Or are you talking about? Oh, you're gonna talk about Batman.
Yeah,
Batman's Grave, right?
We had like an hour at least conversation of Batman's Grave
across how many issues?
Well, if we're categorizing that way, we got 4 issues here. I've read 3.
Okay, so we have 3 issues of Batman's Grave. This is the first time we've covered it, correct?
But if we were talking at a shop,
I don't have that much to talk about.
With it?
After the first issue? No.
I'm sure it was possible. Dude, we spent... I guarantee it's possible to talk about it that long.
No. I disagree. A lot of my points were like, hey, did you notice this happened through 1, 2, and 3? Did you notice this in number 1? The biggest thing that you could probably argue that you could have talked about, the only thing, everything else was over a 1, 2, and 3. The biggest thing was, because I know for a fact in the first issue, I almost said episode. In the first issue,
watch too much TV.
He talks about him and Alfred have the conversation. Alfred's like, oh, you should just like do this through the eyes of the killer or the perpetrator or the evil guy or the bad guy, whatever you want to call him. If you do it through that, you would have solved it 10 times faster. And Batman's like, no, gotta do it through the victim, which is cool. We talked about that. I'm not going to go into it that much, but that's the only like main talking point of the first issue, I think. I can't say, hey, did you notice like how it's talk for 3 pages, talk for 3 pages at the end and all fighting in between?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You couldn't, but if you go to a comic shop and you're surrounded by 10 other people who read the same title,
you think that would have came up?
One of the people might have conjectured as that being a possible thing, because what is everyone's history whilst they're reading this shit?
Well, I will tell you, I thought that on the first issue. I'm like, this is different.
So you could have been the fucking person who, like, sparked an entire conversation that got everybody super hyped about this.
What's the conversation? Hey,
the structural...
Look, Batman's structure's different. That's cool. I don't like it. I like it. Cool. Like, there's nothing to talk about. Like, I honestly think...
There's nothing to talk about a structural integrity of a comic?
Here's my challenge to you.
Okay. You
find one issue of something. I don't care what the fuck it is, but you can't read anything before or after it. You find one issue, we both read it. We find out what we can talk about. I don't care what it is. Preferably, you know nothing about it. You don't read reviews on it, nothing. One issue. I would argue you read one issue of anything produced in 2 years before to current, you are not going to be able to have the depth of conversation you are talking about. Batman number
one.
What are you
talking
Batman's
about?
Grave number 1. I don't feel that way. Dude, perfect fucking example. We read, what's that fucking Snyder thing? New Country, Undiscovered Country.
That was like an hour conversation.
And it was shit. We fucking bagged the shit out of that.
The comic was shit.
Look at CBR. Look at CBR. Look at fucking anything. Fucking,
no, you're
this is fucking Holy Grail and the Holy Grail and suck his dick.
Your proposed debate was that it could be any random issue of anything that we've never read and have no understanding about.
Okay.
Correct? And we would have nothing to talk about.
Yep.
We both read Undiscovered Country, which is a thing that we had never read, yet we were able to get an hour's worth of conversation out of it.
You proved me wrong.
And I didn't even have to buy us random ass comics. There is a lot to talk about in comics. Like any single individual issue. There is structuring.
I get that. But that's the thing. You're talking about like structure, editing, pictures, like fuck that.
No. The
Look
thing
at
is,
the overall structure. Like I have troubles. Like, all right, let's just be real here. Hellblazer number 1. Hellblazer presents whatever. Hellblazer number 1. Any of them. Any of the number 1s. They ain't shit. They are not telling you fucking shit. You would have been like, hey, can we talk about this? I'm like, sure. It was good.
in Hellblazer?
Mm-hmm.
You had so much shit to talk about. We've spent 2 hours talking about issue number 1.
After I read 3 issues and seen where they were going with it.
I guarantee you could talk at least 10 minutes about number 1 after you read it.
Okay, 10 minutes.
And if you had somebody that was talking with you, you could talk, I don't know, at least an hour.
Holy fuck.
Hour and a half.
Dude, Powers is having a signing with Colin Bunn on May 2nd. I might have to go.
You got a couple months.
Benjamin Percy. Do you care? No.
I don't know who these. I know Colin Bunn.
Yeah.
He's been there many times though.
I know. Oh, it's Free Comic Book Day.
May 4th?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. It's so close.
Fuck Creek.
This is where our true feelings come out about Free Comic Book Day. What's wrong with Free Comic Book Day? It's free comic books. You go to your shop, you get your free comic books, and you're not a cunt. You actually buy fucking comics, so you're not abusing it.
You know what's funny? I went to Free Comic Book Day when the Sheboygan Victory Games. I got there. I brought my kid in. He was pissed off as all hell. He wanted to leave the whole fucking time. I go there.
That's not fair. He always wants to leave. Back then. He's like, fuck all you motherfuckers.
Smells bad in here.
It usually does smell terrible.
I get there at the fucking ass crack of dawn. I get comic books. And I go up to the counter. I'm like, hey, can I get this codex? And he's like, you're going to buy that codex today? And I was like, well, yeah. He's like, why? And I was like, you put on Free Comic Book Day. I feel like I need to buy something from you. And he's like, why? And I was like, because if I don't patronize your store, you're not going to sell comic books. And then Free Comic Book Day isn't going to exist. And I feel really bad coming in, taking all the free comic books and walking out. And he's like, you know what? I really appreciate that because you are like probably the only one that's going to buy something from me today. And I saw at least 10 people come in, grab every single comic book and walk out. Didn't buy a goddamn thing. I literally walked around there.
That's on that dude.
No.
That's on that dude, 100%.
No.
No, 100%.
No.
If you are the owner of a shop and you're just allowing people to come in and take 10 issues of anything when it's supposed to be limited to 2?
No.
That is 100% on the shop owner. 100% on the shop owner.
The limits are set by the shop owners.
Which is 2.
No.
Everywhere I've been.
Yeah.
And I've been to Chimera, and I've been to Powers.
Yep.
And that's 2.
Yep.
So if Sheboygan dude is like, you can just fucking take all of them.
Okay, but
that's on him.
Chimera is a very well-established hobby shop in Fond du Lac. Powers is a very well-established comic book shop in Green Bay. They have a lot of patrons. They need to limit it because they can only get so many issues of the free comic books and they're not even free. You understand that, right?
Yeah, they
like
have
the
to
comic
pay 10
shops.
cents. An issue.
That is a thing, and there is a limit on how many they can get. So for Dave at Powers, like he knows he has a certain amount of people coming in. He needs to limit it so that people come in and they feel like they can get something. The Sheboygan comic shop, I mean,
should not be allowing everybody who comes in to take 10 issues for free whatsoever. It's a terrible business plan. He should limit it to 1.
He's just trying to get people in there. Okay, right, wrong, or indifferent, I am the guy who fucking buys something. Right?
No, which is cool. He is banking on you. And you're a good person.
He is literally surprised by me, but okay, like...
You've been buying a bunch of shit there anyways.
I haven't been there in a long time. I kind of miss that place. There's nothing there I need. I'm trying to get, like, not buy Warhammer shit. I'm trying to paint all the shit I have and all the board games. Anyway.
Hashtag bunch of pussies.
True dat.
Sorry, guys.
True dat.
You want some more, what's this called?
Bullfrog.
Bullfrog?
Yeah, I'm good. I got some Koskies.
Drink the rest. I told you could have the rest of it. I'm just saying,
well, I'm not
like,
falling
free
asleep.
comic book day
There's
is
caffeine
fucking
in
bullshit.
here.
It's people
Caffeine?
fucking coming in, getting free shit, walking out, not paying for anything, or supporting their local comic book shop. Those people give 0 fucks about comics 364 days a year, and the one day they come in and get free shit for their kids, and they fuck off. That's what it is.
And they fuck off?
Fuck off.
Oh, not bad. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
You think that's how it works nationwide, though? Every single comic book shop?
I've heard
That
Higgins
90%?
complain about it. I've heard
I've heard them, like, putting on, like, whole kinds of fiestas.
good for them. I believe they do that too. Free comic book day is bullshit. You go and get free comics that have nothing to do with anything that are shit. I've gotten free comics.
No,
Let me tell
what's
you
bullshit?
this. They suck.
The entire Absolute Carnage run is hinged on a free comic book day comic.
Did you get it?
Like, yeah, I got it.
Okay, good for you.
Digitally for free on Comixology.
Okay.
And I was mad I didn't actually get the 10
Physical copy, I bet.
But I also
But why didn't you go to free comic book day?
Because I was drunk as shit and hungover.
No.
I'm sorry.
I've tried to get you to a free comic book day, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that crowd.
Let's go this year.
Why?
to get free comics and awesome fucking discounts and Cullen Bunn's fucking autograph, which you seem to care about. Let's fucking go.
Well,
May
I would.
2nd.
I would.
May 2nd, we're going.
Okay.
Toucan Rant Heads.
What is that?
We'll be in Green Bay at Powerhouse Comics.
We should
At
fucking record
indiscriminate
that
time.
shit in the. We should record that shit in the line. So this is Jeremy. I'm super excited to be here. JD, how do you feel? Oh, fuck you. I don't want to be here. Why is that? I'm hungover as fuck and I don't give a fuck about free comic books. This is fucking bullshit. This is the epitome of fucking consumerism. This is Jeremy. I got nothing to say. He wins. We were at C2E2. We could have waited in line for Scotty Young's fucking autograph and you're like, no, fuck that. It's fine.
You could have waited, though.
I know. I don't know why. You give zero fucks about that shit. I don't know why I care.
No, I give 100% fucks. That's the issue. Completely different topics. You could have waited in line.
And you wouldn't have.
Nope.
Why? It's Scotty Young.
Yep.
Like, this is one topic you and I agree on. He is a fucking amazing drawer. He's a fucking amazing writer. Why would you not wait in line for him?
What the fuck do you say to a person whose art style, or like, all right, so.
What do I say? What do I say?
So like.
You want to know what I say?
Yeah.
Okay. You're asking what you say.
Who's it?
Hi. Nice to meet you. Could you sign this, please? I love your shit. Done. It's not so much about what you say. It's just respecting. Like, to me, standing in line and getting a signature is respect. And he hates it, probably. I would hate it. But at the end of the day, when I left, I'd be like, dude, I signed fucking 500 comic books today. They fucking love me. You don't think so?
No, I agree. Do you want to do this?
No.
Are you sure?
No. Dude, look at that. That is some fucking lime green shit. I'm gonna fucking take a picture of that shit. That's some good shit.
And tossing the.
No, you don't. Dude, you're a writer. You've written and drawn comic books. And I enjoy them.
No, I enjoy them. But then you get to be in front of the person whose artwork has influenced you, and you want to ask questions. A lot of questions.
Nope.
But you can't do that because you're relegated to fucking a processing
so your
line.
thing is you're super fan about this shit.
No, I just
see, like, I'm like very robotic. Like, hi, I love you, not in a gay way, no homo. I love your work. Could you please sign this? Maybe draw a picture. That'd be cool. All right, sweet, thank you. And you're just like, I want to ask you 20 questions.
And you can't.
Yeah.
So then you get in line and you wait for an hour.
No,
2 hours.
here's the thing. I respect that out of you because I don't expect that out of you. Like, I know you, and for you to be like super fanboy, like wanting to do that seems like totally polar opposite of what I know about you. And we go back.
Well, no,
podcasters, we go back fucking years since the 8th grade, and I'm 30 fucking 3. and you'll be 33 in March. Like, we go back a long fucking way.
Thanks for reminding.
You're welcome. We go back a long fucking way, folks. And, like, this motherfucker has never been like that. He's been, like, double middle fingers to everybody who fucking gives a shit, means a shit, cares about shit. It's amazing to hear that. I did not realize that was the reason we did not stand in that line. Because I really wanted to, but like I also wanted to be like, all right, I'm going to do what you want to do. I thought we were being cool, you know, like doing the cool shit.
Oh, dude, I had no clue how to
Till I bought cat ears for my girlfriend who doesn't wear them at all. And,
dude, I had no idea how to handle...
Octocat for my kid.
I had no idea how to handle C2E2. Like, that was a fucking trip.
I know. We got to go next year. I'm sorry about this year, but we got to go next year. Are you going this year? Be honest.
I don't have tickets.
Oh, okay.
I could probably get tickets to go.
I don't know. I want to go. I want to go again, but I can't go this year.
I only go for the experience. That's why I had gone last time.
Yeah.
We fucked up, but we didn't know how to fuck up.
How so?
I don't know, because it was our first experience.
I thought it was great. I mean, we got drunk. That was good. And, like...
If that's what we were doing, then yes, we did not fuck up.
No,
but we did also not stand in line for anyone.
No.
Because...
Nope.
I am.
Nope. But we got good shit. We got all sorts of shit. Fuck you.
I had a lot of fun.
Not let me go this year.
Who's not letting you go?
You told me I couldn't because you have no vacation.
Oh yeah, that's accurate.
Next year I want to go to C2E2. Mark it down. Thank you. Do you want to go to C2E2? Well, no, I'm just thinking, like, I didn't think you'd want to go, but do you want to go?
Do you want to be a nerd for 3 days?
Yeah.
Does it smell
Fuck
bad
yeah.
in there?
It smells like
No,
him.
it's not too bad. And, like, the hotel room, like, I thought it smelled good in there, right?
Yeah.
We had 2 beds.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if you didn't. Right?
Yeah, just a little bit. It would be a little bit queer, but
I can understand why you wouldn't want to go back.
Why you gotta be like that?
I don't know. Don't you expect this about me now?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, now I want to go back. Like, here's my thing. Like, I want to go back, right? I want to do some more comic book stuff. I don't ever have any inkling to go into that big fucking main ballroom. But, like, I do want to spend more time around the anime area because I'm really fucking getting into that shit again for whatever reason. And then manga and comic books and, like, going down on a Thursday, the first day it opens, and just fucking going through all the booths, fucking getting all the comic books I want, like having a legit list. Then Friday hitting up whatever things I want to hit, sitting there all day if I have to. Same thing with Saturday, same thing Sunday. I would plan on just like coming back. Sundays, ugh. You know what I mean?
it sucked though, cause Sunday was when the dude from last podcast on the left was there.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we weren't even awake by then.
We dipped the fuck out, yeah.
But breakfast was good.
But he was there.
Also,
that means he could have been drinking there. That means we could have met him.
Well, yeah, we should have went to the Crunchyroll thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to figure out what hotel to stay at, too. The hotel we stayed at was pretty fucking nice, though.
It was very nice, because it was like a 2-minute walk.
Yeah. Well, most of the hotels are, but, like, I want to say, like, Our room was really nice. The restaurant was really nice. That bar we went to, because they had the March Madness at the time too. Remember, it was like happy hour 2 for 1 on craft beer. We got fucked up. That was good. The wood-fired pizza was good.
Yeah.
The burger with the egg on the top was good. That's how I got into eggs.
From that?
And the eggs in Jamaica. But yeah. Nah, I'm a breakfast fiend. You want to go for breakfast?
Sure. I guess. Yeah, I'll
make
breakfast.
Fuck. Do you want to go for breakfast tomorrow?
We could, sure.
Do you think we can, even though we're going to go out for dinner?
I don't see why not. We're grown adults.
All right, we're going for breakfast.
Okay.
All right. Breakfast tomorrow morning, guys. Be there or be square.
Oh, shit. We're still recording. Huh?
All right. So this has been Toucan Rant. We're all sorts of fucked up, guys. We got the bullfrogs. We got the tall cans. We got the... Some people are drinking fucking White Claws.
I didn't even bring my thingy.
Let me just say, the White Claw drinkers have vaginas. Just gonna say that right now. If you have balls and you're drinking a White Claw, just turn in your man card right now. And that's controversial, and JD's looking at me like, don't alienate our audience. You're really fucking alienating our audience. I'm gonna alienate our audience and say, if you're drinking White Claws, just turn in your man card. That's
or
cool.
grow some balls.
Yeah.
I guess.
We're just two toucans who can rant because we got 2 tall cans, right?
No.
Fuck!
You're the motherfucker who is always very assured of themselves.
We're just 2 toucans who can rant. No. Oh, yeah. We're just 2 toucans with 2 tall cans who can rant because we got 2 tall cans.
Are you being a fucking shyster and fucking it up because I've stated
as soon as you were like this, I was like, oh yeah, we're just 2 toucans with 2 tall cans who can rant because we got 2 tall cans.
See, now you're being a shysty motherfucker. You got this smug look on your face like, I know what I'm doing.
No, I don't. You literally went like this, and I don't know if you were grabbing someone's tits or holding 2 tall cans, and I was like, oh yeah, we're just 2 toucans with 2 tall cans. That's the part I missed, because I always say we're just 2 toucans who can rant because we got 2 tall cans. But I'm missing we're just 2 toucans with 2 tall cans who can rant because we got 2 tall cans. We say 2 tall cans twice. Got it locked down. Boom, 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 boom. Boom.